Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways. Tune in to get your mind right. Tune in and let your soul grow. We already hit the top charts. If you really ready, let's go. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways. Represents to be the host. NSC, co-host. Coach, co-host. Co-host. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways. Tune in to get your mind right. Tune in to let your soul blow. We already hit the top charts. If you're really ready, let's go. Time is up, yo. Don't stop till the time is up, yo. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways. Tune in and get some mind right. Tune in and let the soul roll. We already hit the top charts. So if you're really ready, let's go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Walking This Way's Impact Voice podcast. Today is Wednesday, October the 19th, 2022. Broadcasting once again from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'm very excited to be on here on another Wednesday night. Tonight's episode is called King's Mentalities. That's the second one that we've done. We have new faces added to the panel tonight as we talk about manhood, from communication to knowing yourself, your last name. You name, we're going to talk about a lot of things. This is uncensored, no holding back. Some real stuff that we want to get the problem, get to the source to. Because men solve problems. We don't create problems, we solve problems. So I'm very excited to have some kings with me tonight, and I want them to introduce themselves. Starting from the left, they're going to take it to the right, and we'll take it on to the down. So on my right, I want my guest to introduce himself. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience here on Walking This Way Impact Voice podcast.
All right. Well, I'm George Brooks, based out of Dallas, Texas, originally from Memphis. In Memphis right now on business. CEO and founder of Meta Association. Narrative is on our site, metaassociation.org. Frequent guest here. Pleased to be here. Excited to be part of this panel and looking forward to this evening. So pleasure to be here and welcome everyone this evening.
Awesome. And also on my left, Mr. Millionaires Club himself. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my brother.
All right, my name is Marcus Attelis. Recently moved to Frisco in the Dallas area from Houston. First time here, so pretty much I'm looking forward to it. And I'm a financial advisor, regional vice president with America. So glad to be here.
Awesome. And then also on the left, on the bottom right, on the bottom left, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, gentlemen, how's it going? This is Rodriguez Underwood, aka Mr. U, checking in. I just moved out here to the Dallas area. I have a studio here in Farmers Branch, but I reside in Plano. I'm a fashion stylist, I'm a photographer, image consultant, brand developer, content creator, all of that nice stuff. And I'm just, really elated and ecstatic and glad to be a part of this podcast.
And awesome. Then my last and final guest on the panel, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I hope everybody's doing fine. My name is Curtis Abrams, also known as Kurt Stride. I am an independent contractor about to start a business on my own with the inspections and the home appraisals and stuff in the state of Florida. That's where I'm from right now, originally from Alabama, Roll Tide. Of course.
Tide.
Yeah. We ain't gonna go there now. Hey, slow down. We're gonna get there with the number one team. We try to be number one.
You know it.
I'm also a best-selling author of a book. It's called Kurt Stride, and it's on Amazon right now. It talks about self-isolation, overcoming loneliness in terms of introspection, and about to become a certified life coach, and as well as a anger management specialist. I'm about to also do couples retreats in terms of their marital problems. We're going to try to solve that as well, and I'm going to get involved into that realm. I'm glad to be here with these wonderful, great men here. The ills of the culture are still available that we need to address very quickly, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what opportunity has.
Awesome, and I thank y'all, Jeff, for taking time out. I don't want to say the word busy, but y'all took time out of y'all productive schedule to be a part of this panel as we talk about having a king's mentality. We are kings. You know, the Bible said we are kings. If you look further in scripture, the Bible said you are God. Even Christ said it and read that. The Bible said we are God. You know, so a lot of times we have to know our identity, know who we are. We are kings and priests in the earth. We are God. We made in the image of God and in his image after in his likeness. And getting back to the foundation, getting back to the source, getting back to the nature we put to operate in. You see through the years, you see through centuries how we went from masculinity to femininity, where now you have men, I don't want to say men, males taking on that feminine trait. If you look at them now, they always confrontational with a woman. They argue back and forth. They do all kind of crazy stuff, you know, and women are tired of that. Women are, and I talk to women on a regular basis. I talk to women that's in their 20s. They'll tell you, hey, men are supposed to be the lead. I want a man to lead. Some guys don't know how to lead. They expect her to lead, but they don't know how to lead themselves. They don't know how to think for themselves. They don't know how, first of all, they don't know who they are. You know, society tell them, hey, you need to be this way instead of learning who they really are. Learning our last name, being proud of our last name, because our last name is passed on for generations, especially if you got sons. Your sons have to carry on your name. Our legacy is important. That's stuff that we was never taught or thought about growing up. But through the years, we met people who had mentors who showed you, hey, this is where you need to be at. This is how you need to go. This is how you need to operate. So I'm just really just throwing stuff out there. And I know we're going to get into a nice, healthy conversation on the night. And I just want to talk about manhood. I just want to talk about improvement, how to improve as a man, how to stop complaining, but most importantly, start getting into putting our life in order, putting our life in action, knowing who we are, knowing how worthy that we are, all that other good stuff. I was looking at a clip from Purple. Remember the movie Purple Rain?
Yeah.
I remember how Morris Day said he'd start in this town. She's gonna have to come see me. That's kind of confidence that a man has when he's confident in himself. Women love a man that's confident. Women love a man that has vision, drive, ambition, you name it. When a man that has a mission statement, a man that holds himself accountable, a man that has integrity, a man that knows how to be romantic, a man that knows how to hold it down when they need to be held down. They want that kind of stuff. Some of you try to tell these guys that nowadays that stuff don't work no more. These women don't see all that. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
And I was sharing this with my sister earlier after we got finished working out. Women want something to work with.
Right.
If they see a man not being that visionary, if they're not seeing that man putting in that work, being ambitious, being driven, she's not gonna stay around. Women drawn to men who make stuff happen. So all that stuff talking about, well, this stuff don't work no more, it still works. Women don't want to be masculine. They want to be feminine. They're looking for a masculine man, because the woman is going to come along and help alongside whatever you're building. She's going to come alongside it because she wants to be a part of something. If you're not giving her nothing to work with, what's she standing around for? And it's not about the thing in your pants.
Because
Go ahead.
a woman's going to be attracted to a man that has his own purpose. And that's the key to manhood, is not just accountability. It's a matter of every man has to have not a dream, not an ambition, but a purpose, something that's going to carry him throughout his own life. And one thing in my own journey was that I went through trials and tribulations and hit rock bottom, and sat up and waited on opportunity to come to me. But through developing my relationship with God, I discovered my purpose. And once I did and got a sense of accountability, it radically changed my life. And once I found a sense of purpose and pursued it, I pursue it to this day. And people that follow me, they see that. And it did affect my relationship with women and people, because it did attract a different class of people to me. Right. Because in terms of men and women, a lot of times you attract the inverse of what you are. So if you're a feminine man, you're going to attract a masculine woman. That's not what you want. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of masculine women out here, not because they want to be masculine, but because we as men, many of us have fallen off and not accepted accountability. They've been forced to be masculine women. They've had to, and that's not fair to them. So we as men need to try to take accountability and get ourselves right and improve
Right.
ourselves, so they don't have to carry their burden anymore.
That's
They've
it.
been carrying that burden so hard, so long they wounded. So we need to improve ourselves to improve them. Once we do that, our families will improve, our communities will improve. We'll notice we'll benefit economically, socially, in every way. And that begins with affecting accountability, mental health, and things at home. But
Right.
that takes a man to search within himself first. And that's the hard part. So, you know, through my journey, what I try to do is help other people do that. We just got to begin with self in introspection and things, and reading and prayer and all that as a man. And that's a hard thing to do, a hard thing to do. But every man has to have an individual purpose. You have to have your own ambition. You can't attach your ambition to somebody else's and think that that's going to get you through life.
That's
You know,
it.
you have to have your own purpose and your own ambition. And that's what a lot of women are looking for. That's what I feel. Because as a man, I want a woman that's got her own drive and ambition. I don't want a woman that's looking for a man to take care of her. I want a woman that's showing that she can take care of herself. You know, I don't want a woman that's looking for a sugar. I want a woman that's got her own drive, got her own hustle. Then we can do something together. We can build something together. But a lot of these women out here saying they want a man to take care of them. That's not the kind of woman I want. I want somebody like me that's driven, that's a go-getter.
That's right.
That's right.
Now that's on you being a go-getter based on your intent and your belief of how you are with that. But I want to say that in this world today, and I want y'all to listen to this, there's a lot of hopelessness here. Okay. There are people that needs hope. Okay. That void needs to be fulfilled with the message or whatever you need to do. Okay. There's nothing wrong with voiding that fulfillment. Okay. Like write a book. Hope there's understanding, there's clarity of the ability to do something about yourself. We got to embrace that identity of people, okay? People like to eat crow, but that's the easy way out. There is a level of understanding because the book, my book explains about trying to get the introspection back into place. It's not just men, it's everybody, it's the kids, it's probably the dog too. When you're in that lonely situation, you got to ask yourself, where do I start with having that confidence within ourselves? Let's get that hopelessness away from us. The coronavirus, the inflation that's happening right now, it's turning away from the traditional ways that we should become. Now, all of a sudden, we as men have to do what we can to make that misconception a reality. Let's turn that infrastructure of society into something great. Salvation is the number one thing. You know that, Mr. Jackson. Let me see, what was the Bible verse? Romans 9:10 says that thou shalt confess to the mouth of the Lord and Jesus Christ, thou believe into thy heart that God has raised him from the dead to be saved. Those are the only requirements for salvation. It's got to be an inherited thing. And the hopelessness, as I see right now, has to become diminished. I want to say what I really want to say about how this mentality of men's world that's being disheveled because of this femininity and feminism and girl boss mentality and boss chick attitudes and everything else, it's becoming to get rampant. But it tells me one thing: there is scarcity rampant throughout this world. And let me just say this too: uncertainty. Without uncertainty, without that hope of that salvation you have, you're going to get lost. Now you're going to say, I don't need the man. I can take care of myself. People, they are telling these kids that we don't need a man in their life right now. We can do it on our own. And that's not right. It's not fair for them to try to make things on their own, knowing that they need that man to uplift wherever they at. That's why you put that bit lion on top of your message, because we are the ones that roams the jungle. As a matter of fact, my book right here has that lion. See it right there? It has that lion. So we understand the interpretation of it all. But look at it like this, people. If we're going to go down the street in the highway and then the car gets messed up, who's going to save them? The female? The female's going to come out of nowhere, out of Highway 10 and save them. Oh, they don't want the guy to do it, but they want the female to do it. I mean, something's going on at their house, or, you know, some problems is going on, climbing the ladder trying to fix it, so a man can't do it. Men is incredibly important in these turbulent times right now. And what gets to me is that people are blind by their own ambition. No one says a woman can't do it on their own. No one says a woman can't do it with the kids, but don't eradicate and ostracize the men away. You're making us seem like we're these little bitty hoolums, whatever, that we don't need assistance and we don't need help. We have feelings too. We have emotions as well. We have everything we need to keep a common place of the family value. Why don't you guys wake up for that? Why don't you people, well, I'm going to say women in particular, why don't the women wake up and understand that there is love and there's value within oneself? I know women got their own, podcast and girls groups and all this other stuff, women empowerment. I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with that. Empower yourself, but don't leave the men out, because there are people out there, there are heroes, especially the kids. The children has to look for us. Y'all know that. We are the cornerstone of what society should be. And it's really sad, back what you're saying, George, about how the African-American mantra is not happening like it's supposed to for the African-American men. It's tough because of the fact that we are, I guess, we're just in this mentality of slavery or whatever the hell you want to call it. But the toxicity, it's got to stop. It's really got to stop.
Well, I think a lot of the issue is that the black man is the most ostracized, demographic in the country, and we are undervalued. Fathers of you,
Yeah.
Hey, matter of fact,
undervalued, and we're diminished.
go ahead and finish, Joe. I got a question that's coming up as well, also.
Okay, go ahead. You go ahead and ask.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Ro, big shout out to her. Her and Mr. You gonna be on next week's show next Tuesday. So I'm very excited about that. But she asked a question. She said, "How many of you guys are with your person or married?"
I was married. I'm divorced, but I'm good friends with my ex-wife, and I have a fiance. So I'm actually good friends with my ex-wife that I have a son with, but I do have a fiance. So I'm good. I don't have any issue with women. My ex-wife is an excellent mother, good friend. She's an excellent co-parent. My fiance is an excellent mother. Have no issues with women, nothing like that. So I'm good. So
I'm not married. I'm single, but I mean, I don't want to make this as like a misogynist type element of whatever it is. It's not. All I'm just trying to say collaboratively is we can get along if that's the case. But to answer your question, I'm single. I don't have nobody right now.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah, I think the other two gentlemen got their mics muted.
Yeah. Go ahead, you.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Okay.
I muted myself. I've been married for about 10 years now, gonna be 11 next March. And I think one of the problems that I've seen right now is as men, we need to make sure we take full responsibility for all of this stuff. For example, as men, God originally put us as leaders, and most of the times a lot of men struggles with that. It's more like we don't have a choice, but it's more like, let's say you have, when you go to a job, just like women and just like the world, we don't really have an option on who the leader is. Just like if we have a job, you don't know, you as the employee, you don't have a say on who the manager is. But you as the employee, you have the options to respect that manager or not. So for example, if your manager at the job doesn't really do their job, they don't know what they're doing, and they're always late, they're lazy, they don't do what they're supposed to do, and I guarantee you 95% of the employees will not have respect for that manager. The same way as men. God called men to be the leader of the family. But if you're not doing what you're supposed to, if your woman or your wife or your kids doesn't see you as a leader because you're not supposed to do what you're supposed to do, when they have you not reliable, you're not confident on yourself, you think you're the boss instead of letting them know, instead of them see you as the boss, then it's kind of hard for your woman to actually respect you and accept your leadership as the head of the house.
Right.
I've been married for, like I said, 10 years. I mean, my wife, I never have to say that I'm the leader of the house,
Right.
but automatically based on my actions and based on my work ethic and based on the way that I treat my wife and my kids, automatically I am the leader of the house. I don't need to say.
Exactly.
That's what's
Because
up.
because you can't lead if you're not worth following. I was married for 16 years. I've been engaged for 4 years. And the thing is, if you're going to lead, I mean, you can't call yourself the man of the house and you don't contribute. You can't call yourself the man of the house and you sit on the couch playing Call of Duty all day. You know, some men say a woman should submit, but you can't, you have to submit to your wife too. It goes both ways, and you have to be worth submitting to. So you have to give just as much as you want. So a lot of men get it misconstrued. They think leading means being draconian. They think it means running things in the old sense. No, that's not what it means. Guiding. It means teaching. It means fostering. It means loving. Sometimes that means you being stern, yes, but that's a king's mentality. A king also must have compassion. A king must also have tact and things like that. So some men sometimes get leadership, what that means, misconstrued. And that's where that introspection and learning goes on, because you do have to treat a woman with tenderness. You do have to treat your children with tenderness. So, that comes into play as well. And that's something that a lot of men, especially those Black men, don't or didn't get. I didn't hug my father until I was 26 years old on my wedding day. That's the first time I ever hugged my father. I only had one picture with him. So there's a lot that I didn't get, but in some ways that helped me become a better father. And as far as me being a mate, I'm still working on that. And I'm man enough to admit it. I'm in therapy. I've been in therapy for 4 years because I realize I have a lot to work on. And I've made vast improvements, and I'm man enough to admit it. That's part of being a man. That's being accountable. I'm accountable enough to know there are things about me that I still need to work on, not just for myself, but for those that I love and those that I deal with. So, part of being a king and having a king's mentality is being humble also, and being man enough to say, hey, I need to work on myself, because you can't control how other people react. You can control your reaction to it, but you can't control what other people do. I can control what if I say something to my fiance, I can't control how she reacts. I can control what she does or doesn't do. I can control how I respond to that stimulus. That's on me. That's part of accountability. That's the first part of manhood, is accountability. If you don't take accountability, you can't do much of anything else. And that's what I think a lot of us are missing, because a lot of us have that victim mentality. Oh, the women are doing this to me. Women not doing anything to you. You're doing it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you with a woman that's making you unhappy, that's on you, bro. Because you don't have to stay. She don't have to stay. She might just not be right for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That job that you miserable at, you don't have to stay. Do what you got to do to get a better job. That means giving up hanging out with the fellas to pursue a better education. Do that. That means moving 500 miles away to get away from a bad situation. Do that. Stop being a victim. Stop being a feminine man, and do what you got to do for yourself. You have to be selfish in some regard to make yourself a marketable person, a worthy suitor for a young lady or a young man, whatever you want to do. I don't care. I don't judge. But do what you got to do to make yourself a commodity, to make yourself valuable, so you can live the best life and take care of those that you love. Absolutely. That's part of being a man.
As far as I'm concerned, it's like you got to have that ability to resolve conflict. Sometimes the household is not being contributed to making some sort of a rational ways of capacity when it comes to compromise. Now, no, I haven't been married yet, and I've been in relationships, and the people that I've been in relationships with will tell you that I'm solid when it comes to conflicts and things that's having to do with trying to better ourselves so that we don't have to break up. Is any relationships perfect? Of course not. It could be a pathological intentional behavior, but that's the thing about mental illness. Is it a mental illness, or is it a mental behavior type thing? When it comes to mental illness, it's kind of like It's not irreversible. It's just something that you have to kind of deal with until it can't anymore. Same thing as anger. But with mental illness in particular, you got to kind of control that. With mental behavior, you can control that. You can actually say to yourself, well, is this where I want to be? This is where I need to be. We are living in today's world of, I mean, we're talking about like Jesus. What is it? Sensitivity. Everything is sensitive now. Back in the 70s and 80s, you hit somebody, it was probably because of a rational reason. Now, if you call somebody a name, it's cancel culture. It's a point of you're going to be gone for some reason. And if you're a man, you can forget about it. You know what I mean? It's like the evisceration is happening there. So what I'm saying is, without that stable household, people are going to know that children may go to the streets, or you may grow up to mirror themselves. I want the American man, in my opinion, to become the value of an example. And what I'm about to say may offend some people, but people are looking up to rappers. People are looking up to basketball players. People looking up to these people who are in terms of their superhuman strength because of the fact that they want to be like them. Did I say it's a problem to be like them? No. Always emulate that you want to become the best. But if you can't be 6 feet tall, then don't worry about it. Don't be upset because you can't be the best talented person, or if you can sing, or if you can dance, or if you can rap, or if you can play an instrument. That's just your interpretation of not getting it done. But what about the man of the house? What about the real man that actually goes to work, come home, and tries his best to keep the family together? Those are the people who should get ratified. Those are the people who should get noticed. But it's not happening this way. We look up to these other folks, but I always ask myself, what are they doing for you? You know what I mean? So, I mean, go what you can to watch these games and watch things on television. But you got to say to yourself, the man of the house is really the hero. And we're missing that. The diminishment is not there anymore. The fundamental aspects of becoming a traditional man of the house is not there anymore. And I want to say this as well. Men, just like you said, George, has to wake up for first and foremost reasons. Look into the mirror, splash the water in your face, and say, listen, this is what I need to do to better myself first before I better my other person. Of course, look at God as the number one, okay? If not anybody, look at the good Lord saying that this is what I need to do to contribute to myself, to helping people. Because as the years go by right now, it's getting worse and worse and worse when it comes to trying to become an established family, especially with Black folk. You know what I mean? So let's do this self-fulfilling thing for us, for the betterment of good. Let's not make this a systemic thing. Let's make this a fundamental thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we need to return to this traditional values. I think we're strained, especially as far as a Black. I'm gonna speak on Black men because that's what I am.
Yeah, George, after you get done, I'm gonna get to you. He want to chime in as well, also.
Okay, but I think we need to. Are you been on mute? I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go ahead.
I'm sorry, y'all. Passion, baby, passion.
I mean, I definitely hear the passion, and I think you guys. I ain't gonna say you guys, you men. You guys are all great, but what I'm hearing like so many different platforms, so many different backgrounds, and so many different stimulations on what it is to be a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all come from different backgrounds. Like, nobody's story is the same, you know, but I think we have to learn how to meet each other where we're at. Right. Because I feel like we've lost a whole generation because we spent too much time debating back and forth on what a man is. Right. Instead of just being the man that you know to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't necessarily think that, you know what I'm saying, it's so much of women that's doing whatever to us, because when women go through something, they get together, they empower each other, they support each other, they put together events to, you know what I'm saying, do whatever to help each other out, whatever rut or whatever misunderstanding on what it is to be a woman. Men, we lack that. We lack support in the community. I've myself in my studio, I've held so many different men conferences and men empowerment events, and the numbers be so few, man. And I promote and I do all that I can in the community, but the fact that it's a lack of men that just come out and support each other, whether it be ego, whether it be busy on the workplace, or whether it be just an emotional or mental state that keeps them from coming out and supporting the next man. I mean, those are the things that we're dealing with. I feel like those are the things that we need to talk about, because we can sit here all night and talk about problems, but nobody is talking about solutions. You know what I'm saying? Like going forward, we need to support each other more. We need our son, or I've spoke with older men. I've been in conferences and board meetings with older men, and just in teaching them and talking to them about things that are more important on going forward and enriching the men themselves, instead of taking so much time and beating each other up about, oh, we don't do this as men. Oh, we don't do this no more. It's like that. None of that matters. None of it matters no more. We need to figure out a solution going forward to bring back those men that's needed. Period. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to touch on what George said, I love what George said when he opened up this whole the whole talk is about, as far as men, we need to teach our men, you know what I'm saying, how to, yes, be in tune with your emotions, be in tune, because growing up, we was taught not to do that. But that is a part of being a human, not just a man, a human, okay? And we need to learn how to just, you know what I'm saying, get out and just support each other more, man, and stop beating each other up, stop hating on each other for little stuff. Stop looking down on each other about little stuff that don't even matter. What kind of car you drive? Who slept with who? Who wearing what? It's like nobody stuff cares, but and it was crazy. I was thinking this earlier. I don't want to take up too much because I have another event I have to go to. But I just want to really get on here and, you know what I'm saying, share with you guys. But I was thinking this earlier. We're living in a generation now where people are being raised by social media.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I'm saying, the school system, whatever morals that our parents installed in us back in the 80s and 90s when we was growing up, we're not living in that era no more. So we can't keep speaking on that. We got to meet people where they are. Okay. We're going into 2023. Stuff is different now, man. People are learning different ways. People are doing things in their home, raising their family, and just everyday stuff according to what they're being exposed to the most, because they think that's what's right. But then on the back end, you got guys that don't even, you know what I'm saying, show up to a men conference.
They won't.
In their own community. But you know what I'm saying, you want to sit around and talk about, oh, men not doing this, men. It's because the older men probably fell short or not reaching out or not doing their part on empowering or enriching the next person.
Yeah.
Look, I see so many times people go to the restroom, man, and leave the toilet seat up because they're not thinking about the person after them.
Right.
It's very rare. People are conscious of the next person. And so I feel like what we're dealing with more than anything is the lack of support and the lack of just empowerment from one man to the next. You know what I'm saying? Like how we're doing this podcast and it's like 5 of us on here. Man, do you know how hard that is? Because men are taught to like provide and go out and break their back, work to the sweat of their brow. We're so busy out doing that to provide because of what a body of people told us who we're supposed to be. We're not able to do the other things, or we lack in some area. I mean, because it's hard as heck. Just listen to y'all so far. It's hard as heck being a man, man. It's like some of the stuff and all of the words and criteria and supposed to be and all this stuff that y'all just said so far. It's got my hair hurting because it's like I'm a man and I want to be a man and I want my woman to treat me as a man no matter what I have and what I don't have, when I fall short. Because every day is not going to be the same. I'm not going to wake up every day and just be this 100% go-getter energy dude that y'all are speaking about, because it's unreal.
Yeah.
Okay, can I jump in, Miss Underwood? Can I say something?
Yeah,
okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, I want to say it's kind of like being a baby. You're crying, you're screaming, you're yelling, you're whining. We talked about this earlier, Mr. Jackson. It's like you're whining because it's like there is no reason to be problematic while you're sitting up here whining about what's going on with the issue. But instead, we should become what's called ideological. We should be ideological on things, right? So instead of crying and whining about things, let's be ideological. Let's try to do what we can to keep it afloat, keep it unilateral, make something available. So my question to you, Mr. Underwood, is based on what we do.
Yeah. Let's build men, not continue to talk about what tears us down. That's
Right.
the
Right. So
Well, I think the key to really building men up, because I was part of an event back in August that was for me, and I promoted the stew out of it. No men showed up, women showed up. So I think the problem with a lot of Black men is engagement, because we hold events. A lot of organizations other than just mine hold events for men, but they don't show up. So we really need our women to help get that engagement up with our men, with our young men, older men. We need them to grab them by the ear and make them come to those events and make them and help them engage. And because we need our women, we love our Black, we appreciate them and we need it.
If I could say something, on what Underwood was saying, the reality, it is hard being a man. It is 10 times harder to be a man than a woman. But I think one of the problems that we have in this generation, there is no type of training how to prepare young men, young boys to be men.
Right.
Because I remember back in the days when I was a kid, in my church, they had sessions and they have meetings. They have almost like on a yearly, weekly, and monthly basis, how to be a man, how to be a husband. Nowadays, we don't have those kind of things. And like I said, we need to have a long talk for this new generation. And what is it to be a man? What is it to be a husband? And what is it to be a father? Because a man, you have three parts, really. You have a part in society that you have to be a man in society, and you have to be a husband, which is totally different than the man that you are outside. But at the same time, you have to be a dad, and which is totally different man than the way you are with your wife. So we have to learn what makes you a complete man. And all those things need to be taught. But nowadays, I mean, one of you guys said, pretty much people are raised by social media.
And we don't.
Are we learning how to be willingly servants? Are we servant leaders? Are we, when your wife look at you or when the society look at you, I mean, do they see someone who's willing to do anything they can to help somebody else, to better somebody else? Right. And nowadays, we too busy, I mean, not as men, as a society, we're way too busy trying to get our own. Way too busy trying to get a certain status in society. We were too busy on how people look at us, but we need to make sure we doing everything we can to sacrifice. I mean, if we're gonna take it to the family, we as a man, your job is really to sacrifice yourself for your wife and your kids. Right. That's the way it is.
You guys ever heard this saying that a man is not a complete man or whole until he finds his woman? You guys ever heard that?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. I mean, and I would say it goes back to what George was saying earlier. It's like finding your purpose, man. Finding your purpose in life. How you gonna lead if you don't even know who you are and what you're supposed to be doing?
Right.
So it's so important to find your purpose. And when you find your purpose, it's just like how I found my mate. I was in my element. I wasn't even looking for her. I was in my element doing what I'm supposed to do as a man, as an entrepreneur, and we bumped right into each other. Right. Period. But you know what I'm saying? And she treats me as her king because I had to go through what I had to go through without her to figure out who I was. And then once I found out who I was, I'm able to be that leader and that king to rule in my like my journey. Because it's like I don't know everything, guys. I'm 37 years old, but I've accomplished some major things, but at the same time, I don't know everything. So I need you guys. I need her. I need my kids. I need all of those elements to make me a man.
Right.
So every day we get up, we have a choice, man.
We do.
We have the things around us. We have the elements around us. We learn the different things, but it's about. I can't remember who it was, but somebody spoke on accountability, which is a huge thing, and I hear that word a lot when it comes to being a man. Being accountable, and we have so much weight on our shoulders. Like me, I forget stuff, man.
Yeah,
I be
me too.
stuff, and then it's like I be like, don't beat me up about something that I sincerely forgot. Like I have a lot on my plate. I
Yeah.
have 4 kids. You know what I'm saying? It's like I have a girl. I have a business. I have so much going on. Like don't, as man to man, don't beat me up about it. You know what I'm saying? Remind me or encourage me or empower me on ways that I can remember or tell me, like, write it down. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I mentor little young guys all the time. I feel like that's like my part of giving back to the communities, being a mentor and telling my story on how I became this figure that some guys look at and look up to. Everybody don't look up to me. You know what I'm saying? But some people do. Some people look at me like, Mr. You're a dope. And some people look like, some people don't. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, what I'm saying, gentlemen, is that you, George, like you said, you have to find out who you are and find your place in this world and run with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because all of this stuff y'all talking about, no, ain't too many men gonna have everything together.
No.
Y'all looking at like, oh, women, certain women looking for this, other women looking for that, dudes looking for other dudes to have this, and this is so much, man. We're putting on each other to be a man instead of just being a man and knowing what we know. We all individual,
Right.
and knowing what we know individual and being an expert at that and passing it on to the next generation. Like me as a fashion stylist, and George, you as a businessman, and Marquise, like we're all have different gifts and different talents that we supposed to be mastering and passing along.
Right.
And I think that's what enriches the next generation of man like you. You know what I'm saying? Because every man is not the same. But in effort to help the next generation, your story and your type of man that you are, it can help the next person. So it's really, at the end of the day, there's no right and wrong way to be a man because everybody's battle is different. We just got to learn how to meet each other where we are, where we at, and empower and enrich each other. Period.
Yeah, that's what it comes into, the iron sharpen iron mentality. Yeah. Iron sharpen iron. Because we constantly evolve every day. Because what we did today, we're gonna do something completely different tomorrow. Constantly evolving. So that's where I'm at right now. Knowing who we are, learning our identity. And once you learn your identity, know you are, everything else gonna fall in place. Like you mentioned earlier, you
learn your identity. I'm sorry, Furman, forget you. Once you
no, you go ahead.
Once you learn, this is so powerful. This is so profound. Once you find your identity, man, and your purpose in this world, it's so much more that's going to just open up and just be given unto you. You don't have to worry about what everybody's saying and who. It's like my little corner in this world, man. People think I'm supposed to be doing this. People think I'm supposed to be there. People think I'm supposed to be doing all this type of stuff. And I'm just one man. I can't be everywhere doing everything according to what everybody's expectations are. I'll drive myself crazy.
That's it.
The man that I'm destined to be and affect my people and the souls that I'm accountable for. All of this other stuff, man, it's like it's too much description.
Right.
Over time, like years and generations, all of this stuff has built up on what a man should be. And I hear women talk, I'm like, how's a woman gonna tell you how to be a man? It's like you can't.
Yeah.
Your life been a man. All you got is examples of dudes that you can deal with. But that might not be necessarily according to the man that I am. You've been around all these dudes, and I'm an individual. And I've been through a whole journey that you can't even fathom. So don't tell me I'm not a man because I ain't meeting your expectations of what you think a man is. Oh, I'm a man, and I'm a man. And anytime I'm involved in somebody who treats me less than a man or a king, I'm dismissing myself.
That's it. You know what? You know what you said about that, you you show the value in yourself. You
Right.
value yourself, you value your time. You know, a man needs his peace. If you know you're not, if that person not bringing you peace, what you gonna do? You're gonna dismiss them with all due respect because you value your time, you love yourself, and you cherish yourself, and you value yourself. And that's what part of manhood is about: valuing your time, valuing yourself, not wasting your time, because it's something we can never get back. And you don't want nobody to waste your time.
That's
Yeah.
a clip.
Because if a woman wants to lose a man, the quickest thing to do is to emasculate him. He's gone. Even if he stays with you, he's mentally checked out. He's done. Call him a certain name or embarrass him in public or do certain things, and that man is checked out on you. Because you cannot emasculate a man and think that he's going to stay emotionally invested in you or in that relationship. You can't do it.
Some people are not like that, though. That's people that will jump in. They'll jump in.
That's why it's so important for you to know who you are. Because if
Yeah.
you're in a relationship with a woman that's not
That's like that.
Oh, you press pause.
You're mute.
Mute.
Yeah, you unmute. Yeah,
Mute.
unmute yourself.
Mute.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. There you go. You back.
I mean, like Underwood was saying, really.
But again, it goes back to what George was saying. You have to literally find out who you are, and then from what you think, that comes after. That comes after because, like, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm an alpha dude, and you know what I'm saying, and I operate off respect.
Mm-hmm.
Any of you guys don't operate off that.
Respect.
Yes.
That's built in us. That's built in us is respect. Because that's what a man is all about. Once you disrespect that man, he's going the other way. But once that man get that respect, he's gonna be there regardless. Because we built like that. We fall into respect.
I mean, I would say yes. Each one of us, we are our own individual. So we have to find ourselves. We have to be a man based on our own personality. But at the same time, there are some, how would I say it? There are some universal traits that a man has to have. Just like a woman, I mean, yes, she's a woman individually, but at the same time, is she a good woman or is he a good man? But in order for you to be a good man, there are some lessons or some traits that you have to be considered as a good man. For example, for a man, regardless your personality, how you are, but for you to be a good man to a family, well, number one, how useful are you? That could mean it could mean different things from different men, but how useful are you to your wife and your kids?
Right.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I hear what you're saying. So let me ask you this. So in a household, like I have a lot of friends and I've heard so many different household scenarios. So if the woman in the house is the breadwinner, I don't know if people still use that word.
They still use it.
If your wife in the house is she's the breadwinner, but you do things on the back end to support her, or you know what I'm saying, do certain things around the house that she may not have time to do. Does that make you not the man?
You know, I'm gonna say that there's nothing wrong with that. You know why I say there's nothing wrong with that? Because that shows how strong that individual is, that woman is. So God forbid if anything happens to you, she know how to hold things down. I don't know why some guys run from that. You know, you hear guys say, well, I don't want no independent woman. I take an independent woman any day, and that's just my opinion. Because you know why I said it? Huh?
I take an independent woman any day.
You know, because I said that before you met her, she had her own place. She would make her own money. She was paying her own bills. So she was already equipped. So when you came along in the picture, what man don't want a woman that's holding it down? I don't understand that. Because
so
God forbid
to that, when you meet a woman like that, man, you have to know your value and what you bring to the table.
Yeah, because
At that point, whatever you thought what it was, it's out the window. Women are so much more than they was back in the day, man. It ain't saying, but it's
it's,
about your heart, whatever your
Yeah,
heart.
it's divine connection, divine connection. That's what
yeah,
you're saying. If somebody gets one thing together, another woman gets their thing together. If both are equally yoked when it comes to they're having something, she's having something, they come together, the relationship will work. That's what Miles Monroe said. Yeah.
oh, Curtis, it will work because I'm gonna say this
That's what I'm talking
because
about,
the
Curtis.
Bible said that
How about that?
God made a suitable helpmeet for Adam. So you got to have that suitable woman alongside you as you build his kingdom, as you build his empire. And like I said, if God forbid something happen to you, she know how to hold it down.
That part. You don't know something happened to you, and then you got
Absolutely.
somebody that's totally dependent on you for all these reasons that we've been naming, and something happened to you unforeseen, and it's like, then what, man? It's like you can't look at like, oh, the roads have changed and all this type of stuff. It's about you having a backbone. If something happened to you, you got somebody to hold it down. And then nowadays you got a lot of women, man, who don't even understand and know the power that they have. A lot of women don't know that they have the power to build or tear down their husband.
Right.
With what they say.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? All again, you the man, so you gotta, kind of like that was one of those qualities that my man was talking about. That you just gotta know as the king, like, look, this is I know who I am. This is what I'm trying to achieve in life. This woman is talking me against that or talking me down and making me feel defeated, like I can't achieve that. You got to make a decision.
Yeah,
come on.
And I'm at this point now, and we talking as you elevate in life. You know what you want and what you're looking for. I'm not. I'm like this. I don't care how fine she is. She can have the biggest booty and all this other stuff. I'm all about your character. I didn't know where you at. That just be real. That just be real.
I know. Well, we got to get past it. That's how a lot of gentlemen are falling short, man. We're looking at the outer shell and not looking at the personal characteristics of what we need in a woman.
Right.
And we're falling short to it. Simple.
Well, you go back to the question he asked about if the woman is making all the money and the man is not making any money.
And you say all the money, big fella. Wait a minute. Don't be doing that.
I heard that.
Money, I don't think money is an issue. A woman can make $1 million, whatever it is. But now you as a man, once again, what is the purpose? How do they see you? It's like a temporary thing. I mean, we all can go through certain situations while your woman is holding you down. And I don't think for me as a man, for me to really, regardless how useful I am in the house, regardless whatever else I'm doing in the house, but I don't think for me, my personality wise, for me to just sitting around and really have my woman be the sole breadwinner in the house.
But let me say this. Let me say this. Let me say this.
Yeah.
The man. And this happened too. I see this a lot. Long the man is doing his part, that woman, she's gonna look out for that man.
Period.
She gonna, hey babe, she gonna look out for that man, because a woman wants something to work with. She gonna call and say, hey baby, I got you. I'm at the store. You need anything while I'm at the store? Hey baby, I'm at the store. I see this outfit I want to get you. They would do stuff like that. So she gonna do her.
My girl told me.
Yeah.
My girl told me.
I see what you're saying, and I understand that completely, right?
She's saying as long as we are trying.
But, and I've been married for what? 10 years, gonna be 11. You as a man, you have to find ways to contribute on all, because we as men, God made us to be the provider. All right. So which means if your wife or your woman is only the provider financially in the house, I don't know for how long it's gonna be, but 99% of the times, it could be temporarily. I mean, it could be for a year, 2 years, whatever it is. Now, what exactly you as a man is doing to either be in the same level financially, which is, doesn't even have to be, she's making 100, I need to make 100. How you contributing towards the house?
I understand what you were saying. He was still saying, even though she may be the breadwinner, he's still doing his part. It's still a balance there. She may make more than him, even though he's doing his part.
Right.
She may make more than him, we just don't make
You're
him.
talking about money, Mr. Underwood. You're talking about money. You're talking about if she makes more money than he is.
And he's still doing his part.
But he's still doing his part, right?
He's still on the back end. He's still right. Being like, oh my God, my girl. Being a provider is not all money. But what I'm saying is I had this big discussion, man, a few weeks ago. I can't remember. I talked to so many people, but they were talking about a woman feeling secure.
Mm-hmm.
And I had it was literally a lot of guys thought a woman being secure thought it was financially secure. It is so much more to secure.
It's just a little portion of it.
All right, let me ask this too.
It's way more.
And that's where uncertainty comes in. That's where the uncertainty I was talking about previously.
Okay, let me ask this. Okay, I'm gonna say this. Okay, when you sleep in the bed with your woman, where do you sleep at? Where do you sleep at? When you're in the bed with your woman, what area of the bed you sleep at?
The center?
Yeah.
No, you always. I'm gonna tell you, I sleep by the door.
You talking about that?
Yeah, because she don't need to sleep by the door. Your wife, your girl don't need to sleep by that door. You as the man need to sleep by the door, because if something pop off, you need to be the first one to get up. Don't tell her, baby, you need to go see what's going on, because she damn well ain't gonna respect you. You always have to get up, because the man always gonna go first. He always gonna lay his life down for that woman. He gonna lay his life down for his family. He'll fight the hell. If he have to lose his life with his family, he will lose the hell over his life for his family. He's always gonna be first.
You got that one, because I do have a bad shoulder. So now it all depends on the shoulder that I'm gonna be laying on.
Yeah, because I
understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I mean, once again,
and then I'm talking about the security part. Okay, a woman wants to feel protected, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you weak, she's not gonna stay around you long.
No,
she's not. She wants to be. Women like to be secure, and she gonna pick up the security about you. If somebody disrespects her, you gonna let somebody disrespect your wife, your girl? She gonna look at you crazy. She gonna say,
mentally weak.
She's gonna look at you crazy. She gonna like, you can't even protect me for real. Because it went back in the day. If you disrespect the man, what he was gonna do? And now they still do it to this day. He was gonna check that man or that individual. Matter of fact, if her family disrespected her, he was gonna check them.
Oh boy. I'm busting heads.
Because for one, you're not gonna disrespect my wife, you're not gonna disrespect my family, not disrespect my household. We are protectors. A man protects. That lion protects his family. And he will fight, he will bleed, he was for his family.
Period.
That's what we had to get to, and I understand what you were saying. That the lion is he's a hunter, right? The lion.
But you know what? I mean that goes back to the trauma effect when you were young. No, a lot of people, Mr. Jackson, Underwood, George, Marcus, has not been raised that way. They haven't been raised like lions and tigers and everything else. Sometimes people had those problems when they were young, like traumatic issues, that they won't grow up to become the lions and everything else because of the miscues they've been through. Some probably been raped or been abused.
Okay, but I'm gonna say this too, Curtis.
Yeah,
they can change that by getting the proper help that they need.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
I'm saying is a lot of people not going to be that way.
Like, we got to start. You know what I'm saying? Like podcasts like this, men getting together. Are we speaking? We got to create bigger platforms to start coming out, support each other, and I don't know. But
right, you're right, Mr. Jackson. That's change. Yeah, you can change on that. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying not everybody has that mentality of becoming a courageous person in that familiar, that frame of mind, if you will, about becoming the man of the house.
But the
it's
only
not for
way that
everybody. It's not for everybody. I'm saying it's not for everybody. But don't say to that woman, submit to me. You're not giving her nothing to submit to.
right,
Throw
exactly.
Bible out there all
Exactly.
the time, but
Exactly.
they're not living to it.
And that's
If
what
you
I was saying. That's what I was saying earlier. All this comes down. Everything roots back to the mental health and accountability. You can't change and become that person until you take accountability. And as a man, get back to yourself and your purpose and become correct and heal that trauma and heal that pain and become right. Because like Curtis was saying, a lot of people, especially young guys, they may have grown up in domestic abuse problems and they may not know how to react in a situation like that. But when they get of age and get some sense of clarity,
There you go. Right. Bingo.
Mhm.
then it's on them to be accountable and get help and get right.
Okay,
See,
but I'm gonna ask this one too. What about helping them get on track before they get into a relationship?
then that's
What
when
about
they got to engage and seek out resources and venues like this, like what we doing. But see, some of us are so closed-minded, we got to still get the attitude, I don't need no help, I don't need no therapy, I don't need to listen to nobody. See, we got to break this stigma and get us talking and stuff like this so we can facilitate healing and facilitate these conversations. And that's why it's
And
so
Mr. Jack,
valuable.
let me throw this in. Yeah, I'm sorry, George. Let me throw this in too. The statistics show right now in the United States alone, there are 1 in 3 African American women over a man. So you're talking about 3 African American women over 1 man. So the population is increasing. It's increasing. It's like I'm not saying it's permeating, but there are more women, even in colleges and universities, that there are more men available. So it's kind of like now the women got to make a choice of whoever they're going to pick. It's 3 chances for that 1 man to get, you know what I mean? So it's like it's permeating with that as well. So now it's like we got to be more intrusive than ever to make our selection of who we have to pick. Are we going to pick this woman that's accountable in terms of responsibility, or this woman that's actually self-sufficient, or this woman that needs our help because she's struggling what she's been through before?
okay? Well, it's all about sitting down and a man. I'm saying a man looks for comparability. He looks for a woman he can be comparable with. That means we sit down, we talk about a lot of stuff, things that we need when it comes to tradition, when it comes to how we talk about a lot of stuff. That's the thing there. When you meet somebody, I'm gonna tell you on my first if I take somebody out, I don't do dinners.
Right.
We're gonna meet over some coffee, some tea, or whatever.
Oh.
And so we can communicate. And that's something we would never talk. We would just talk, oh, she look good. We don't even communicate. Damn, that's it. But we got to get to the point where we have to sit down and talk about a lot of things. No judgmental stuff. Everybody has a past. Everybody been through some things and everybody experienced some things. Especially some women. They experience a lot of heartache and breakups. You got to think back to her childhood. She may have never had a father in her life. Her father probably wasn't around. He probably would, but he probably would never show that example. Some women go through that kind of stuff. So we have to communicate about a lot of stuff. Drop the ego, drop the pride, and let's communicate. Let's talk. Find out what's going on. What can we meet each other at?
Yeah, I love that you said it. You said what was on my mind. That's what I said earlier. It's like you gotta learn how to meet people where they at, man.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people grew up different. You know what I'm saying?
They did.
Your expectations of what you looking at them and you think they supposed to be. Some people have to grow in love. You know what I'm saying? Like, you meet somebody, you learning them and stuff like this, and you learn different stuff every day. You know what I'm saying? They don't make them less of a woman or less than a man. You just
what you said, I know it is 100% true. I mean, like we were saying, we have to have a lot of training for a lot of young men.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, we see a lot of young men nowadays is worrying about getting the next chicks, getting the next. But if you take the time, for you to be a complete man, there would be no shortage of women. And it's really based on us, the older ones, and who have more sense, who have a lot more knowledge. Actually, I mean, I think one of you guys saying that we need to have more of those podcasts to actually train young men how to be a good man, how to be a good husband, how to be a good father too. Because, like I said, man, right now there is a lot That's it's almost there is a vendetta to destroy manhood in this country.
Exactly.
And and if since we all in the Bible right now, I think Paul said to the Corinthians, act like men, which means, I mean, being a man, I don't know how to say it, but it I cannot really put the words because right now I don't know because I cannot come with the word, but it's a lot more just being a male, being a man. It's not just yeah, it's a lot more, being just hey, I'm just chilling, having chicks all over the place and having babies. It's a lot more, and all those things need to be thought. All those things just to come on its own. So we have to take the time to not only teach each other, but also, make sure we're bettering ourselves for society.
Yeah, because it pays
My
back.
question is, Simon, is like I said earlier, is like I've like out of my own pocket, like I've produced like big men conferences, I've did tours.
Right.
It's like, what do you guys suggest that we do, or somebody like myself? What did you guys suggest that we do to get the younger market of gentlemen out to our events to learn about these qualities and learn about finances and investing and how, being a man and all of this stuff that we're naming to be a guy?
Now we get somewhere. Now we
Hey,
get somewhere.
I got to answer to that. And George, you can back me up on this.
All
Me and George are right now trying to organize something of that nature, Mr. Underwood, so we can rely on things such as spreading the awareness of mental health and mental illness for not just the men and the women. So we really are trying to trickle down on anybody who has an effect on something that's got something to do with mental health or isolations. Me and George worked for a lady by the name of, her name's Ebenezer, but she's a singer. And I guess her friend, his name is, what was his name? Jeff
Blaylock.
The comic guy, right?
Yeah.
What it is we try to blend in our expertise in terms of trying to learn how to get with people in terms of the mental illness and awareness. It worked, but wasn't that many people showing up because they're more so looking at the element of the talent version of it more so than
You
the
know why,
informative version.
Curtis, you know why?
Why's
Because
that?
we live in a generation where we're more moved by what we're influenced by.
I know that. I know that.
I mean, of course. I mean, I think all of us know that. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm trying to figure out the combination, because sometimes it seems like if a guy doesn't look at you as being influential,
Right.
or
Absolutely.
being cool or being hip or whatever the word is now, they're not going to listen to what you say.
Right. You got to have something in order for them to put their ass in the seat. I got you.
It seems like, unfortunately, as far as dealing with black men, a lot of our engagement is going to be after something tragic happens to them. That's when they tend to listen. It won't be. It's like the police. We show up after something happens. That's when they want to listen to us. So, that's been my experience. Is after
their attention span is so short, man. Even then, it's like, what do we do? I mean, because we're losing our men, dog. I mean, that at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about right now. Mm-hmm. We're losing our men. Well, so what do we do? Even when we get their attention, how do we keep their attention? How do we continue to meet them where they're at and hold their attention where these suggestions and things that we're doing in these workshops and these conventions become effective across the board? Like, what do we do?
Well, I can tell you what I do. I keep going. I go one at a time. I go out of pocket. I keep holding events. I keep going, trying to work with schools. I try not to worry about how many show up. Every event I record it, I put it out. If I can just get one at a time, I just worry about that, because I know a lot, because I was 19, I was 20, I wasn't thinking about stuff like that. I knew I needed it, but I try to put myself in that mindset. But I just put the material out there, and I just hope and pray that if it reaches one person, then that's all I can go by. And I know that in time, you know, God will give me one at a time. He got to trust me with one before he can trust me with 1,000. So I just keep going.
But I want to say this too.
Consistency is the key. And also, we have to meet young men where they are, like you said. You know, we cannot expect them to join certain things when we know it's not gonna be, they're not gonna enjoy it, or they're not gonna like it. So we have to bring or meet them where they are. We have to learn about what they like to do and how they like to. So it's temporarily, we have to bring the audience to them.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, consistently, if we keep doing it the right way, and they see how much love we have and we expect them for who they are today,
right?
And eventually and slowly we'll see that they starting to change, and they will slowly become one of us, and they will bring their friends, because nobody likes to be judged. Nobody likes to be rejected, but if they feel like when they come to the meetings and we're just talking down to them, and they're not gonna say.
Right.
And then I would say this too. Everybody has some different brains to the table. You just can't be one-dimensional in one area. You think about it. Even though you got this one area, but you still got other areas that's not even being addressed. You know, you have brought up something important when it comes to like finances and investment, learning different things.
As you can mean, wherever you go, they always have women.
What you're saying is like education.
Woman
Educational stuff, having
right, something that's going to matriculate,
right,
try to advance them in terms of the youth growing up and moving forward. George, you talk about that a lot.
Yeah, having that gumbo, that buffet type of atmosphere where they could benefit from everything, because people may not be into the mental health arena. Some people may be into finance. Some people may be into some type of different activities where you reach them right where they at. But you have to be open-minded to a lot of stuff. And that's what's gonna get a lot of people attention. Like, oh wow, they got this here and they got that here. Get them something that they want to experience. And like I said, meet them where they at. It's a lot of kids, young guys out there who want to work. You know what I'm saying? Have stuff in play with, teach them how to get a job. Teach them how to do the application, resumes. Back growing up, they were teaching how to do your resume, all this other stuff. So we have to get back to that point. Well, I call it the born again experience, being reborn again, being retaught, being retrained. It starts here in order to live that better life. And now that once we live that better life, it's going to trickle down to the generation behind us. Right. So we got more to offer now compared to just being one-dimensional.
Right.
George, co-parenting. Remember we were talking about co-parenting? How does that sound, co-parenting, having the mom and the dad together in these events? And to make sure that we can all have this united collaboration and conformity of one. We're talking about like getting the mom and the dad to like an event, even with the kids or without the kids, and talk about the fundamental purpose of being parents to these kids. You know, the men at least will be involved. Sometimes they want and put baby daddies and baby mamas in them together. They ain't got to be like a household family unit. Just put them all together as one. That way, the child can get some sort of a great enrichment of it. Both parents there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because co-parenting is important. Because reality is, I don't care if you can't stand. I don't like to use the term baby mama. I just use the term co-parent.
Okay.
I don't care if you hate your co-parent or not. You got to get along with them on some level, or else you just screwing up your kid. It's just real talk. If you know, unless it was abuse or something like that, you know, just because you mad and you want to do that, that's selfish and that's beyond petty, and you really not showing that you love your kid. Okay, if you mad because they don't want to be with you, it's your problem. You got a kid. You got to deal with them on some level. You don't have to be best friends. Y'all don't have to do that, but y'all got to learn to co-parent. And I'm developing a co-parenting course based on my experiences and things I've been through. And I've actually proposed it to my son's former school, and they're interested in it. So I'm developing a curriculum for that, seeking funding for that, and I'm going to launch that. And it's a very good program, and I think it's going to help a lot of parents and a lot of kids, because that's one thing that's lacking. We got too many kids coming from fractured homes, and not saying that, you know, the worst thing you can do is try to stay together for the kids. Don't ever do that. That's the wrong thing to do.
I'm gonna say this too, Joe. Go ahead, finish. I'm gonna let you finish. I want to ask you. I want to
okay. But you should try to coexist for the kids. Try to get along for the kids.
But I'm gonna ask this too. Could this been prevented though? We get tired of seeing broken homes. That's why I was mentioning earlier about being compatible. When we meet a female, a woman, sit down and talk about these things, and don't just go off what's in between our legs.
Mm.
And see, when we go up between our legs, then all hell breaks down. I wish I never got with this type of female, because we going off about, oh, she got me turned on, but don't know nothing about this woman. So now we end up having a baby out of wedlock, child support, all this stuff plays a role.
Well, I mean,
it could have
it's
been
even if
prevented.
it's even if you married, things could go left. I was married and things went left.
But
So it really don't matter how. I mean, it can be prevented, but statistically, it's still gonna happen.
okay, but it takes two willing people to make a thing work. The Bible says, I can't two walk here except they agree. It takes two willing people, not one individual. It takes two willing people to make it work. That's what we're going back to saying. A man looks for comparability before he makes that move.
But sometimes, Mr. Jack,
Yeah,
I mean, they hit brick walls.
I mean, you could be compatible.
Okay,
if you
but
all 2 years and 11
but
years.
what I'm hearing, in all due respect, it's like we're making excuses now.
It's not to make an excuse, but when you actually get married, things can go wrong. It don't matter how compatible things.
But you still have to work things out and communicate.
You can communicate all you want, but things.
So what I'm getting at, it sounds like just being excuses now. We're
It's
making
not an
excuses
excuse.
now.
It's not an
Because
excuse, but until you actually been married, you don't know.
I mean,
okay. If you look at let's talk about these vows, for better words, for sickness.
It don't matter. It can still go.
Okay,
left.
so that means if something happen, if she get down and sick, you just gonna up and leave.
It's not a matter of that, but things can happen in the marriage.
No, I'm just asking the question. I'm asking the question. If she get down and out, you just gonna up and leave, right?
No, that ain't what happened.
No, I'm just saying. I'm asking the question. So
no, I would never do that. That's the, no,
so
no,
if you have a disagreement, you just gonna up and leave because y'all had a disagreement, right?
No, it shouldn't have to be that.
I mean,
way.
I can only speak for myself. I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for the
No, it shouldn't have to be that way.
But what I'm saying is, with all due respect, we have to prevent this stuff. We talk about problems, but we have to prevent this stuff from happening.
You can. I'm gonna tell you this. Let me say this. You can take every precaution. You can do everything. You can do all the premarital counseling. You can do all the praying, all that.
But George, what I'm saying, it takes two willing people.
It takes two willing people. But sometimes love.
No, I disagree with that. It takes two willing people.
Let me come in. Two
I
things
just
can
married
be.
people that's divorced, and I'm telling you, sometimes I'm not saying every time, but sometimes it just ain't.
Okay, but
Two things. All right, guys. Let me jump in for a second. Two things can be right at the same time. Yes, things do happen, but also single parenthood has become a norm in this country. Like, for example, me, I always had a rule even before I got married. And sometimes my brother made fun of me because back in the days, I do not sleep with a woman until I can see that woman being the mother of my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I could, at the same time, I could have took all those precautions, right? And I could still end up being divorced. But I did my work. For example, so for example, before I got married, I looked at, fortunately, I had multiple options, right? But a lot of guys getting into relationships and they don't even really know what they put themselves in. So for example, one of the things that I did, I looked at my wife's mother.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the family. Because I had a girlfriend, everything was great. But I didn't like the way her family, I would say operates. I didn't like the way they do things. I didn't like the life of the whole family as a whole. So when you marrying someone, you're not only marrying that woman, you marrying the mom, the dad, the brothers, and everybody else.
Mm-hmm. But that's when you go back, you talk about a lot of things before you actually make that commitment. It's about everything in life is about choices. Nobody have to make you get married. You don't have to get married. You don't have to have children. Everything is about choice. At that time, you made that choice. You made that decision. Okay, it didn't work out. So you know what to do next time, what not to do, what to do. Every L you take is a lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
because
can,
sometimes things just
yeah,
happen.
sometimes it just ain't meant to be. Yeah, I mean, you can
Sometimes-
do a lot of
It go back choice. It go, but you
Sometimes-
learn from it though. You learn
yeah, you
from
learn
it.
from it.
Exactly.
But,
Sometimes
I mean-
things happen, right?
But
But at the
Furman,
same time,
but
lack
Furman,
of-
what
let me finish.
about the art of compromising? What about the point of agreement? What about the point of trying to work it out as a married couple or a premarital couple or even a divorced couple?
Mhm.
Can that make some fluidity in what you're talking about in
You
terms
still
of
go,
trying to
yeah,
make
like I,
it together?
yeah,
Yeah.
because you still, it takes two. Once again, it
Yeah.
takes two willing people, not one, two.
Well,
Both people have to agree to make this thing work.
marriage is hard.
It's hard.
No, no. If what you make out of it,
No,
y'all don't understand.
it's
Y'all,
hard,
no,
man.
no,
Listen,
this what y'all
let me
make
finish
out.
what- let me-
Y'all making this. It sounds like throwing
Marriage,
excuses
listen.
going on.
Marriage is hard, but at the same
I
time,
know only second and third marriage.
But at the same time-
Marriage is hard.
yo guys, listen, I've been married
No,
for 11
you
years.
make marriage.
So
What
married
you
for 10.
make out of a
But
marriage.
guess what? You can make a choice to make it work.
Right.
Yeah,
He's
But
right.
at the
He's
same
right.
time, it takes two to make it work.
It
You know
do.
what I'm saying?
But it's still
for
gonna be
example,
hard to
when
make
I
it work.
just-
Oh no, Joy, no, because once again, communicate. No, Joy, well, you throwing excuses out there. It takes two willing people
to make it work.
to make it work.
it can take two willing people to climb a mountain. That climb a mountain is
Nah,
still
that
be hard.
ain't got nothing to do. It takes two willing people to make
Okay.
it work. That's why you sit
Okay.
down and you be real with each other in the
Okay.
beginning. Be real. Take the mask off. Don't go along just to begin alone and talk about this stuff. A lot of stuff in life can be prevented. The Bible said is before us. It's a you choose life or death. The Bible said choose life.
So, Jack, let me give an example.
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
Let's say you see this girl, right?
Uh-huh.
And you know she's been around the block, and her mama has like 3 or 4 baby daddies. What do you expect if you go ahead and either marry this girl or have a baby with this girl? What do you expect?
That's what before you make that decision.
That's
But
what I'm
that's
saying.
based on
Yeah,
choice.
before you make that decision, you gotta think about that.
So you have to, but at the same time, both of you guys are right. You can do all that. For example, look at me. I did all that, but there's a possibility I could end up being a single dad or, being divorced. But fortunately for us, me and my wife, we make a decision. So we're gonna make sure we make it work, regardless what happens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we understood what we're getting ourselves to. And also at the same time, sometimes people get into a relationship without putting all the cards on the table from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Before I got married with my wife, I personally laid everything down. And I have a lot of friends who's married, and I knew it wasn't going to last.
Right. Because people change over the course of a marriage.
People change, but at the same time, a lot of stuff that was happening, they expected to change when they got married.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you married a husband, well, matter of fact, the girl you walked into the church at 5 o'clock, it's not the girl you got out.
Exactly.
Do you understand that as a man? Do you understand the girlfriend that you have today will not be your wife, will not be the same girl the next day after you marry? Are you going to accept that? That's the reality.
And they may cause things not to work out, and they may cause your marriage not to be easy. They may cause your marriage to be hard because you don't know a person until you really marry them.
No,
how long
let me
you
say
live
this. No,
somebody.
let me say this. I'm gonna say that a guy shared a story. It was going to premarital counseling. The preacher talked to this guy. He told this guy up front, before you make this commitment, you gotta realize she got all this stuff going on in her life. Are you willing to deal with that? The guy kept saying, "You see how fine she is." The guy told her again, He kept telling the guy again, you got all this stuff on, are you willing to deal with that? His response was, you see how fine she is.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he got into it, he filed for divorce. But that could have been prevented. He was trying to get him to see the big picture. Before you make this commitment, get past the physical attribute. She has these issues going on in her life. Are you willing to deal with that?
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to put a number on it. I would say a lot of the divorces nowadays could have been prevented.
I agree. I do agree with that, Mark. I really do agree with that.
But I'm saying this: even if you take all the precautions in the world going to it, there's no guarantee that your stuff gonna work out.
But George, at the end of the day, it's a decision that you make. You don't have to be with anybody. It's a decision that you make. Nobody have to be with nobody. You can stay single.
Yeah.
Be a boss.
All I'm saying is marriage is not easy.
But it's what two people make out of a marriage.
Right.
You can try to make it the best you can.
Yeah, I keep hearing saying try, but it takes two willing people.
Hey, Furman.
No, look, I'm gonna say that I've been married, I've been there. So I know a lot of married people. I know most of my friends have been divorced. So we got plenty of battle scars. We tried.
Oh my goodness.
Put it this way, right?
Yeah.
Regardless, you could do everything you could have done. It could still happen, but before you as a man or as a woman make that choice, you can minimize the chance of you getting a divorce by that's when Jackson is right, by choosing the right person.
Right, the right person.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's what I was going to say.
If you minimize it, so for example, like I give myself an example, I tried the best that I could to minimize the chance of me getting a divorce by looking at my wife's mom. She was in her 50s. Okay, if my wife is her mom right now, can I deal with it? Right? I looked at the family. If this is my family, can I deal with it? You see what I'm saying? Now, is my wife, is she going out there, hopping from this guy to this guy to this guy to this guy? No. I mean, of course, we all have our own issues personality-wise, but can I deal with those issues? So which means I'm minimizing my chance of getting a divorce, but at the same time, there's a possibility it could happen. So what I did, I minimized the chance of being 80% of being divorced to about 20% of being divorced. You see what I'm saying? So once again, Jackson, you are 100% right, but at the same time, George is also right. I could have done all that, but still end up being divorced. But I did all the precautions. I minimized the chance of being divorced drastically before I got into that relationship. The first years was horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. But I'm gonna give you one little piece of advice. What I saved from my perspective, I said, you know what? I'm gonna choose not to be upset.
And that's where anger comes in.
Yep.
I got to say this. When it comes to emotions over thoughts, just rational thoughts, you're going to have bad consequences no matter who you are and where you go.
Yep.
But if you turn that around and use thoughts over emotions, now you got a base to go to. Now you know where you need to go. Now you got a management controlling situation, particularly with anger management. I talk about this all the time when it comes to anger management. It's about how you control things.
How you react to things. I mean, as simple as it looks.
Yeah.
The one, because I remember, bro, you married a totally different stranger. Doesn't matter how long you guys were dating, right? So you were raised this way. Your wife was raised that way. and then you guys get together. She's gonna do a bunch of little things that piss you off, but at the same time, she's gonna do a lot of little things that's going to piss her off.
That's right.
Especially for the first year. So when we pretty much about to kill each other, we say, you know what, just not really kill each other for real. But I was just saying, just as a joke. So I made a decision to myself. I said, you know what, I'm going to choose not to be upset or not to be mad. Doesn't matter how bad it is. Doesn't matter, I can always look back and say, you know what, I could choose to be mad. I could choose not to be upset.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And we tried that for a few months. And then I tried it, and then she started to try it. And the next thing, since then, our relationship changed.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's a lot of society right now, and that's one thing people don't understand. Society, the way it's going right now, it looks like there is someone, I don't know who that is, pushing for, divorces or single moms, they just don't want family to stay together.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. They don't.
So it's our job, since I'm a man, it's our job as a man to make sure you're doing everything a human possibly can to make sure it doesn't happen. But again, you can try to do everything you can.
Yeah.
It can still happen, but we as men to make sure we're going to do everything we can. Choose right. Know your wife even before you're married, not just because she's hot.
Right. I know, right?
You know what I'm saying? So if we choose the right woman from the knowledge. So like I said, from the beginning, my church, they were teaching us exactly what we need to look for from a woman.
Right.
What characteristic that we need, that we should look for from a woman.
Right.
And fortunate for me, I was raised by my grandmother.
And court longer. Court women, properly. That's something that we don't do. Court longer. Don't be in such a rush to get married. Take your time.
There you go. Yeah.
And then another thing with that, guys need to learn how to live on their own too. If they go from their parents' house, they need to get their own place. Learn how to live on your own too as well. Learn yourself, get to know yourself better before you take on that road. Because a lot of times, at the average guys,
I'll give you an example, right?
Go ahead.
A friend of mine, he was dating this girl for like a few years, right? And then I said, he's gonna marry this girl, right? He said, what do you mean? I said, yep. He was like, why you said what you said? I said, bro, her mom bring you food every day. She's taking care of you. You're going to marry that chick. Now you need to make sure she's the right woman for you. Because if not, you're going to end up marrying a girl that you don't want to be with. I mean, fortunately for him, they've been married, I don't know, like 8-9 years. But now, the other day I was just talking with him. He was like, how did you know? I said, hey, listen, as a human being, there are things you can see and you can stop. If you don't use it properly, you're going to end up in the wrong check. If the mom brings you food and you willingly accept the food, she bring you food at your job. That's not her job. But when you start accepting those things, you're going to start feeling a certain way that you'll have to marry this chick.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Me, I dated my wife for six years. I probably ate at her house maybe once or twice. You see what I'm saying? I didn't have I didn't feel any obligation to do anything that I don't want to. Sometimes we as men, we put ourselves in a position.
Well, that's choice. That's choice you made on whatever you want to do on that. Right.
Yeah.
That was your
So
choice.
we
Mhm.
have to make sure we don't put ourselves in a certain situation that we feel like we don't have any choice.
Yeah, don't let yourself get pressured into marriage. And I think
Absolutely.
5 years is like a good enough time. You know, people ask, well, how long should you date? I think 5 years is good. And I think people
I
should
mean,
wait.
I don't
I
think
think people
the
should wait.
time frame is,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a limit to
Limit,
it.
but I think
But-
that's good. But I think getting married a little bit later, maybe in late 20s and 30s, I think getting married straight out of high school is a mistake.
Well,
You
I
know,
would
that's
say
just my personal
because
opinion.
with guys, I think when you look at around this generation, a lot of young guys are still trying to find themselves, so they don't need to be
Right.
trying to marry nobody. They don't need to be trying to impregnate
Ain't
nobody
nobody, none of that.
because they don't even know themselves.
Yeah.
Once they go through that little, they 20, learning themselves, getting themselves together, then later on in life, then they know, okay, I could be a husband now, I could be a father now, because a lot of these young men don't even know who they are.
Exactly.
They just getting out there having sex, having babies out of wedlock, and all this crazy stuff.
Somehow that's been normalized now. It's normal to have kids.
It is, because you see now, baby showers, you see the girl, you don't see nowhere the man ain't present at all. The girl having baby showers by herself.
Yeah. Wow.
And most of these young women don't know themselves either.
Well, because they, like you said, what you said earlier before you left, social media.
Right.
You know, they look up to the entertainer. I think Curtis, you brought that up about the entertainers, the rappers. They look at all these figures on television. They're not seeing an example at the house.
Right.
Even remember Charles Barkley said years ago, "I'm not your child. I'm not your kid's role model.
Yeah.
You, the parent, supposed to be the role model, not them. They athletes. I'm not in your house." That is like, that's how I want to talk about the parent thing. The schools. You know, you hear a lot of teachers been complaining now that why you're not getting a formal education. You got to think about it. Now, you're dealing with a child that's problematic. What that does, it holds the other children from learning anything.
Right.
And then you got some parents, when you address the issue, they get all mad, want to fight, want to cuss. You see where the behavior coming from.
Yeah, because I hear a lot of teachers say right now the biggest problems in the school are parents, not students.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It really is. Hey, can I share a key to happiness? The
Go ahead.
main key to happiness, in my opinion, is simple as this. We didn't even brought it up none tonight, but the guy that just left, he mentioned it one time, and nobody else said about it. It's about expectations. Okay. If you don't expect anything from anyone, people, no one's going to be able to hurt you or hurt your feelings, and you'll live a happy life. But that's all about expectations. Don't expect anything, as I say. Like in most of those ideal conditions, they don't exist as well. It's like you always expected something from at least someone, at least some situations in your life. If you somehow manage not to expect anything from most people, let's say including your friends and close relatives, you'll live a happier life. It just makes sense to be happy because it won't hurt you if nobody behaves you as your expectations. You help a friend one time, and now you expect him to help you back when you need his help, and now he doesn't show up. That's gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you don't expect anything and you're mentally ready to deal with the situation, it ain't gonna hurt you.
Right.
It's just,
That is so true.
Yeah.
Me personally, I never got disappointed.
Mm.
Never.
be the conductor of your symphony. Just,
Yep.
make sure it's your world. That's where it boils down to.
I'm glad you brought that up. See, I'm glad you brought that up.
I mean-
What I'm getting out of it is become the CEO of your own life.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You being the chief executive officer of your own life. So we are getting somewhere here. So go ahead,
Yeah.
Marty. Let's say something.
Let me give you an example, right? My mom had someone that was living in the house, right? And when the person came in, really, she laid out the red carpet, did everything for this lady. All my siblings were doing everything they could to make sure that person feels okay, feel comfortable. And me personally, I was like, listen, I'll do whatever I can. I'm not gonna give 100% of something that I don't have. And they were like, what? I said, well, if you guys doing all that for that person, you guys will expect the same treatment. And when she left the house, they didn't live in a good terms. But guess what? She's still my good friend right now. Because you know why? If I'm going north, she's going south. I'll be like, listen, I can give you a ride. I can give you up to where I'm going.
Mm.
But I'm not going to detour myself and give you more than I could possibly can. But my other friends, my other families will drop whatever they're doing, will drop this person an hour away, 2 hours away, left what they were. I never did. So when she left, nobody was happy. It was a big mess. And still today, she's my good friend because I never expected anything from her.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So what you said is 100% right.
Right.
Do not have those high expectations from other people.
Right.
And that's why I'm not that much friends with women anyway. I'm friends, but not that much with women because to me, and it's not being a chauvinist or a misogynist, anything like that. It's just that if that woman is gonna say I'm her friend and we're friends, that's where it's gonna stop right there. If I know in my heart that I'm gonna slip through those cracks a little bit and try to get into her DM, into her panties or anything like that, then I know I'm a disservice towards the respect I am with that. So I don't really be friends with women in that regard because now we're living in a world of maybe culture and everything else sensitivity wise. But if I'm gonna be friends with a woman, I'm just gonna keep it platonic as possible. If I want to make a move on you, you'll know, but I'm not gonna do that out of respect. No, I'm not married, but I just know how the game works when it comes to that. I do know. If I like you and I really like you as a girl, as a lady friend, that's it. We as men, we love that figure of what a woman has. We do. But I think it's the mentality of what we need to present to ourselves to take it to a level that we don't need to go above where it is. Because if you do, now you become another statistical subject of
Cancel
this,
culture.
yeah.
I'm gonna ask you this, Curtis. Do you think that we prejudge ourselves? Well, some guys, when you mention something, some guys would be afraid to say what they want. They'd be afraid to say okay, she gonna friend zone you because you allowed her to instead of telling you, hey, I don't want to be friends, I'm gonna be more than friends. Some guys are afraid.
Well, you said it earlier, Freeman, about the confidence. Remember you said
the confidence.
Very beginning.
Right. Some guys lack confidence.
Like, that's what women crave for. They crave for that's why the women like the assholes that stays with mama, play the video game, and slang, you know what? Because of the confidence. Now, let me say this. It is a good thing to have confidence. It really, really is. That goes back to what you also said about being the big boy instead of being the weak-minded person. You want that confidence. You need that confidence. It's just a matter of the layer of which confidence brings upon and the outcome of where that confidence is with that person. Turn that asshole into something great along with the confidence he has, then it's something that you could probably work with. So the fear, being a lion, has to take from within you at first. You got to start that with yourself. Women love confidence. That is so
They
true.
do. And we talked about that earlier today on the phone. Women do love confidence. If you're, let's say the bad boy. Why do you think the women, like you mentioned, the women love the bad boy? You know why they love the bad boy for? First of all,
confident.
He was confident. He demand respect.
Right.
And he didn't care what nobody thought about him.
And if he gets into a fight and she's about to get hurt, if he's gonna take care of himself, he's gonna good well take care of her ass too. He's gonna protect her. That's what women want.
I think, Mr. Jackson, based on the title of what we're supposed to talk about, from my perspective, I think we should have another one. Really talks about what is it to be a man mentally.
Right.
What a man's supposed to think and act and be like.
Yeah. Because what I would say what it ties into, Mark, to speak of what you're saying, it ties in going back to knowing the identity, knowing who you are.
Exactly.
Once you know who you are, you can be a better man in society.
I think one of the I think one of the important aspects of manhood that I personally study is the study of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius, the meditation. I study a lot of that. The Book of Five Rings, The Richest Man of Babylon.
Oh my
Read
God.
a lot of that.
I read them too. That's what I'm tripping. I'm like, I didn't know you read that, Joe.
Yeah, Bushido, reading a lot of that every day. That's a lot of what I shape my own personal feelings of manhood around, because that's consistent. That's not something that's new age. That's not something that somebody made up. That's been tested over centuries. And so I think next time we do this, I think we should discuss that also. It'll be interesting.
Being a monolith in many cases, like just being inside the circle, like in this center point right here. My book explains about it. That's why I'm tripping, George. It's like you interpret the way that I'm talking about. See, that's the thing about introspection. You see a different point of view of your distinctiveness, of the lion, and everything else. If you can do that, you can go places. You can do anything you want to in life. That's the law.
It's my belief that every man needs to take, what do they call it in the Native American culture, where they take a sabbatical. And they go off and they be by themselves for a while, and they spend that time just thinking and praying and studying. And I had about 2 months of that when I really hit rock bottom. And that's really what changed my life. And I think every man at some point needs to take 2-3 months. Just, and I know everybody can't do this, but just go somewhere. Go somewhere.
Get away from social media.
Yourself.
So in other words, what you're saying, George, find you a place that you can go unwind, regroup, rejuvenate.
Yeah. I mean, at some point in your life, and I don't mean go someplace in the city. I mean, go someplace where you isolated, no phone.
Like go by a lake somewhere, go to a pier somewhere, and just walk. Yeah.
The reality is, guys,
I like that.
The reality, it is hard being a man.
Right.
And we have men nowadays cannot accept that fact. We have opinions and there's reality. It doesn't matter what we think as a man, it doesn't matter how we think the world should be. The reality is, for you to be a man, it's not one of the easiest things. There's stuff that you have to be. Like I was saying, do you have a sense of purpose in life? How confident are you? Can your wife look at you and say, you know what, or your girlfriend, I'm happy he's my dad. I'm happy he's my husband. To do that, it's not based on how you feel about a certain thing. It's the sacrifice and the responsibility to whom much giving, much expected. If God put you as the head of the household, because he knows you should take all the heat, you should take all the responsibility, and you must be willing to make the sacrifice to be the head of the household.
Yeah.
And if you cannot accept that, we have so many, weak men in society today.
Right.
Yeah. If the world was perfect.
They're not taking responsibility of being a man.
But you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, Mark. You said take the responsibility.
Right.
Learn to be responsible for our own selves. We have to be responsible. And I know people in the comments have been saying stuff about accountability. So being responsible for our own self. And
being a husband, bro, it's like you gotta go out there and get beaten mentally, physically with the world, right?
Right.
But when you come home, you gotta be able to help your wife physically, mentally, emotionally, in all aspects. She doesn't need to know what's going on in your world. You see what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
It's good to have a woman that actually take your problems, she takes your problem, accountable, or she understands what you're going through, but she doesn't hold you down. She doesn't hold you anything. Your job is to make sure physically, mentally, this woman and your kids is well off in all aspects, regardless of what's going on in your life. And if you cannot accept that, bro.
You know,
Yeah.
I saw a video of exactly what he's talking about. This is what he's saying. If now, correct me if I'm wrong, Marcus, but this is what you're saying. This is the video I saw. Okay, the lady told the man that if you're gonna go home from your work and you don't like what you're doing at work, do you love me? And he goes, yes. Well, if you love me, prove it to me. And he goes, well, I need to let you know that I care about you, but I don't want you to bring all that mess to me at the house. And what she said in particular is, well, if it's going to bother you that much to talk about your issues, don't say anything. Just lie to me and tell me that you love me and you care about me and be there for the children. In other words, I think what she was trying to interpret is, you know, if you go home with all your issues and your problems and all that, and you want to mask it out to your wife and your children when you're at home from your work, don't do it, because she wants to be in love with you, even if you were to lie to her and say, everything is fine, honey, I'm okay, because now you're at home in comfort and peace. You want to bring all that mess to there. And that's the video on that. That's what Marcus is talking about.
Yeah.
That is very effective.
I agree with both y'all. I agree with both of what y'all saying. In other words, go somewhere, cry it out, get out, go somewhere.
No, just don't bring it at home. Just don't.
No,
bring
what I'm saying is, before you go home, what I'm saying is, go somewhere, cry it out, then come back and then come back home fully rejuvenated. Because you guys, you don't want that stuff. So I agree with both of y'all saying.
Right.
I agree with both of y'all saying. So in other words, go in your car, go cry out somewhere, let that mess go, and then come back fully ready at home.
Right. Don't smoke no weed or drink no beer.
No, just cry it out. Just go cry it out and then get back in.
Yeah.
Come home.
They ain't gotta see that.
Come home and help her with her BS.
Right. She knows you're going through a lot. She knows that. She knows that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You must be, and that's you know, you accepting those responsibilities and understand what is it to be a man.
Right. I agree with both of y'all saying. So in other words, go cry it out by yourself. Nobody ain't gotta see you, then go home. Gotcha.
Yeah,
it makes sense. It makes sense on what
makes you feel better.
say.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw this thing. I don't remember who was saying it. He said, being a man is being willing and capable of killing a man, but at the same time come home and really, what's the word he used? Being really, you just kill someone outside, but at the same time come home and play dog with your daughter.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get
That's
that.
a mental,
That makes sense.
That's an
You
internal.
see what I'm saying? So you have to be able to have those two personalities, those two separate men, that big old macho guy, which that's what.
And that takes power. That takes mentality and power. That takes very unique power from the heart to distinguish between the two. You have that power to do that. That's where introspection comes in. You said that, George. That's where introspection comes in.
That's what being a man is.
And
I think one of, I know we've been going on for a while, but we need to make sure that being a man, like the king's mentality, you know, what is it to be a man? We need to make sure we stick to that. We make sure people need to understand, as a man, a lot of shit's gonna come your way, but how well equipped are you to absorb all those BS around the world, but at the same time, being a great husband, being a gentleman to your wife, being a firm, friendly, playful dad to your kids.
Yeah.
Right.
And I want to say this, because we know distractions do come. They ain't try to come through us off course, but it's all about staying focused on the mission and task at hand. A lot of stuff gonna try to throw you off course, but it's all about enduring. As the Bible say, the race is not given to the swift nor the strong.
right.
It's all about who can endure to the end. It's all about enduring to the end now.
And it's important not to break character, but you also should develop good relationships with other men in a brotherly sense. Like, you know, it's okay to say on a day that you're not doing okay. I call Curtis on a bad day and say, brother, I'm not doing okay. Because every Sunday is
vice versa.
and every Sunday's not going to be Easter. And you have to realize when you got to pump the brakes and shut it down for a few days and rest up. Otherwise, you're being foolish.
And hold
So,
each other accountable too.
Yeah, hold each
But it-
other accountable.
And
Be
be
like,
real and say, bro, you wrong, you wrong. Because a lot
yeah,
of
you
times
wrong.
guys look for some guys look for yes men.
Yeah,
They don't
there
want
you
nobody
go.
to tell them.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Look at AB Antonio Brown, the football player. You see how he been acting out. Every time you see him act out on social media, he got yes men in his video. You right, AB. You right, AB. But nobody telling him, AB, man, you wrong, man. You wrong. You need to stop doing that. But people don't want to be accountable. Like, if you tell somebody, bro, you wrong. Oh, man, you judging me. Why you judging me for? You got to have people accountable in
You
your
gotta
circle.
be able to handle it.
And say, bro, you wrong, you wrong.
Yeah, that's
And
an
black men,
example of
we
him
need-
not listening, not understanding the true value of what that man was trying to tell him. He's over. That goes back to that baby I was talking about, the baby versus ideology thing.
Mhm.
AB is not listening to what the man is saying. If he could just calm down and calm down with his de-escalation a little bit, then maybe it makes more sense than to, oh, you can't this and that, and you just yelling and screaming out of emotions.
Well,
You
a
know,
lot
you can't do that.
of times we like to be appeased, you know. We not comfortable with saying, oh, okay, I disagree with you, but we still cool.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
disagree with
And that's
somebody, you
one thing I
become
used to,
enemies now.
I'm still bad. Yeah.
Yeah, people
You know,
disagree with
it's
each other,
just-
not the enemies.
Yeah, no, it's just we just disagree.
I mean,
You know,
that's
all.
Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas still got that beef going on, man.
Right.
Over the years, it's like let it go, man. You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
let it go.
we're grown men.
Exactly. I mean, you're not going to agree on everything, but at the end of the day, it's all about, hey, bro, I love you, bro. Hey, I love you, bro. You dap it up, hug it out, and that's it. That's what men do. Men don't keep miss stuff going on and on. That is, you know what? Hey, I love you, bro. Dap it up, and that's it.
I think it's the environment. It's the environmental compass that we're in right now.
It's a maturity level.
It's all about the environment.
Maturity level. So
that's like if you're in the projects. I mean, it's not the projects is bad. It's the people who make it bad. It's the people. No, you know, change the people. You can change the place.
Let me ask you a question. If, as a dad, or as parents, if your kids, being, if your kids not being the best person in society because of the place that kid was raised, whose fault is that?
if the child turns out not to be a good person because of where they were raised, that's on them. That's their kid's fault.
Product of an environment. They use that I can become a product of your environment. You know, they use that.
It's not the kid's
terminology.
Now the next question.
Well, how old is the kid? That depends.
Well, now the kids is what, 22, 23, 24.
At that point, that kid has some certain responsibility to straighten up. At about 15, yeah, you're in society. You should be able to correct yourself. I'm not saying that, you know, it's totally on them. Yeah. But you know, it's
then you gotta realize, Joe, a lot of these young men are attached to their mother. Their mother color them a lot. I see that all the time.
Yeah.
And I see that all the time. Their mother colors them a lot.
Well,
I hate it with different girls.
Let me give you an example, right?
Go ahead.
One thing I heard my dad said a long time ago, right? He said he'll prefer not able to eat. He makes sure that we live in a good neighborhood. Never understood that. Yeah. Now I'm older, right? Yes, as a 24, 25, 26, 30-year-old man or woman, you should be able to take responsibility for your own actions. But at the same time, you as a parent, you should take, once again, responsibility. You need to make sure you do your job, making sure you don't stay a certain place with your kids, because we are a product of our environment.
Yeah, I agree. Because go ahead.
Hey, George.
Yeah,
I'm about to throw it at him, man. I'm about to do it.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're 22, you know, that product of environment, you know, it's, you know, if you're 22, 24, I don't care where you raised, you know better at some point. I don't believe in it.
Well, you know what, George?
You've encountered people that have told you right and wrong. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna be a perfect person,
Right.
but you know better. I don't
Can
buy
I
it.
ask you a
I don't buy
question,
it.
George?
Yeah.
If you're raised in Italy, what language do you speak?
You speak Italian, but I was raised in some pretty, interesting circumstances at times, and I knew better. I just chose.
But you know
not to
why
do it.
you knew better? Because the support system that you had at home.
No, it ain't got nothing to do at home because I had some messed up stuff at home. It's
All right, but
what
it
I'm
is, you had in your mind, so you had in your mind to make a better life for yourself.
I had common sense. I had just natural stuff, just going to school, knowing not to. Stop making excuses for.
No, but what I said, it was already in you to make something better for yourself.
George,
you decide not to be another statistic. That's what it is.
My friends that did wrong, they knew they was going wrong. Mm-hmm.
George, what I'm trying to say is, as a parent, as a dad, as a man, your job is to make sure your kids doesn't get raised in certain situations.
Right. But what I'm saying is, as a parent too, because I am a parent, I have 2 of my own and 3 step. I have 5. At a certain age, when they hit about 15, that's when they start making their own decision. Now, when they get 22,
baby.
That's on them. That's on them.
Rain. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. And this goes back to the guy was saying about these social media. It's like social media is just rampant with these kids.
I've had my experiences with one of my children, and that's on him.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, but
it all depends on how the kids was raised. I mean,
he was raised
in the house.
He was raised fine by me. His mom was a damn fool. That's on him. So if he was 20-something and still acting, that's on him. That's all I got to say about it. Mm-hmm. When your kid hit 22, they're responsible for how they turned out at that point. However, you raise them as best you could, but once they hit about 15, I know.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. Is it who's responsible? Is it like both the kids and the parents, or the parents has no responsibility whatsoever?
The parent has responsibility up to a point, but at some point you've done raising them.
A friend of mine told me once, it all starts with mom and dad. It all starts with mom and dad. It starts with mom and dad,
but it ends with them.
Mm-hmm. But also hold them accountable. But also hold them accountable too. In this generation, that whole need children we're accountable for anything. That's why they've been so conditioned. They do right or wrong. They know their family gonna be there for them. Yeah. They gonna support them. They're not gonna tell them, baby, you wrong. I disagree with you. Okay, if your son get locked up today, is you gonna bail him out? That's
no.
Exactly. Because you need to learn tough love.
He's 17 right now. He can't call me for nothing. You on your own.
And you don't call me for nothing else to see how I'm doing, how things are going. That's the only time you're gonna call me from the
he's 17. He called me right now.
But you know why? Because you're like, that's a decision you made. Like, if you go down, if you commit a crime, you're not gonna go down there and bail. You know what? He's gonna call you, hey, Dad, can you gonna bail me out? And now he said, nah, you're gonna sit down there for a while. I already know where you at. They give you 3 meals, and then he at the end, now he gonna have to make a decision. Like, damn, that ain't playing.
This is a whole other conversation.
I ain't saying nothing about no 3 days. I'm just gonna be like, oh, you straight. Huh?
Because you know why? Because you hold him accountable. You're not gonna rush down there and bail him out.
I ain't finna walk slow down there.
No, you're not learning nothing from that. He's not learning nothing.
I'm just saying. I'm a great father. That's one thing I'm very proud of.
People are raising a bunch of wimps.
But you know, back in the day, think about it. Because back in the day,
what then?
Hard head, soft behind.
Yeah, hard head, soft behind. That's my approach to raising kids.
That's it. You should know that, Marcus. Come on now.
Trust me, bro.
They make that decision, so you can hold them accountable. Like,
but what I was trying to say is, yes, the kids has a lot to do with it, but at the same time, we as parents, if we're going to have kids, we need to make sure we put the kids in the best situation.
I agree.
And it starts with
where you live.
It do. It
No,
do.
it does.
It does. It really
It does.
does.
It does.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm talking
It
about a
does.
situation, and what I was referring to, and I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying, sir. But what I'm saying is, you have kids in situations where they were given the best circumstances possible and still made the wrong decision. That's what I was.
Oh yeah, I have that as firsthand.
And that's why I emphasize the co-parenting so much. Yeah.
I have a kid that I pretty much I raised with him. Now, we were raised together, same church, right? He was, when we were like 17, 18-year-old, he was doing Bible study for us, right? This kid knows the Bible from left to the back of his hand. He knows everything about the Bible. Whenever the church needs someone to preach, he's the one that always. His dad was one of the elders from the church, raised him properly. Now, if you see this kid, man, I cannot count how many times this kid's been in jail. Has a few baby mamas left and right. His whole chest, back full of tattoos, gangs all over the place. And the dad, I had a conversation with him. He said, "Yeah, I feel good. I sleep at night peacefully because we all know that he did his job."
Right.
But long as he in your house, he got to abide by your rules.
Exactly.
Now, when he get his own place, you do what you want to do.
He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
but just to answer your question, you can still do everything right, and the kids still can do whatever they want.
Right.
But we as parents, he did his job. Every single one of us from the church know that, okay, yeah, he did his job. It has nothing to do with him.
Right.
But long as he was in your house, he abide by your rules. But when he in his own place, he can do what he want to do because you did your part. But in your house, you abide by my rule. But when you
and once you decide you're in my house and you don't want to do what I say, you got to roll. I don't care if you're 12. Bye.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
Hey, George,
yeah.
I got to throw it at him, George. Hey,
Go ahead.
hey, Mr. Jackson and Mr. Marcus, have you ever saw the documentary called Uncle Tom?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Ooh, tell him, George. It's what we're talking about right now.
That movie right
unbelievable.
there, it was unbelievable. If you watch the first, Curtis called me at 6 something in the morning on Sunday, suggested I watch it. I watched it right then. The first 20 minutes blew me away. I posted, I sent it to everybody. It talks about the Black conservative movement. And if you're politically sensitive, I wouldn't watch it. But I'm not saying it's going to change you radically, but it will make you question some things politically about yourself. And it was very well produced. I recommend people see it, and it will generate some discourse.
It will.
It's poignant. So I can't say enough about it. But I do recommend at least watching the first 20 minutes of it and seeing what you glean out of it.
It's called Uncle Tom.
Okay.
Chad O. Jackson is the star. It talks specifically about the disparagement of single moms and the single dads, and the way that the government is trying to proliferate the way that there are in terms of the way of a family society is not the way that it is, because the government wants to try to take over the role of the father of, I'm giving a little bit of the movie, of the system, and the way that has been like misappropriated. It's kind of bringing down the American family tradition values of the Black man in the household.
And look at it now about what we're talking about.
I recommend it.
And look at it now. We're the most incarcerated race in jail right now, in the jails and the prison systems right now.
Without a landslide. I mean, Hispanics are like probably in the 30%. We're at the 70s, easily. And it's sad because most of them are just as smart as we are. And that's in the jail. They know everything. And we're talking about people who graduated from high school, college. I even know a couple football players that played in Alabama. Yeah, Roll Tide people.
You already know. I'm from Alabama. I'm from Mobile, Alabama. That's where I'm from.
Tuscaloosa, baby. Tuscaloosa.
Let me ask you, I'm going to ask you one question, right?
Yeah.
If right now, I know 100% sure Curtis or either one of you guys, stronger physically, smarter than me, if I can eliminate you as being a competitor, what am I going to do?
You could get connections to probably, it's like blackballing, like not make me work, put me to the lowest point, I guess.
I don't have to worry about you anymore.
Say that
You see
again?
what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about you anymore.
Well,
You're not even in the competition.
That's a good question. That really is.
So let me ask you a question. Once someone being in jail, really, what, being you start your own business, okay, really, what function can you, what really can you do in society nowadays?
Nothing, because you've been so conditioned to being incarcerated, because that's why a lot of them end up going back, because they've been conditioned mentally.
All right, George, that's your bread and butter right there.
Well, as far as like with my nonprofit, we favor recidivism. First of all, when they're in jail, they often don't get counseling and mental health care, so they already come out at a deficit. They have the stigma of being incarcerated. It's hard for them to find employment to sustain themselves, let alone start a business. So they're already just ostracized to the point where what can they do? So they end up.
So we're in a society, right? We're in a society. Pretty much, it's a dog eat dogs. That's what the world is. So if we can kind of eliminate one group of people, and we have the power to do it, what are we going to do?
We're going to do it.
I mean, that takes a group, and that takes faith, and that takes some sort of a grassroots people getting together, going to city councils, talking about making nonprofit programs or some legislation problems or issues that you can try to turn it into something that's going to be positive. So not only they don't have to go back to prison, but they can actually have a great quality of life, because people can get out of prison and still make a second chance in that livelihood.
What I'm
trying to get at really, so you said like 70% of, jail right now has 70% of Black men.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that's 70% of people who's not competing in the real world.
Right. They've eliminated much of their competition, and they transplanted it into slave labor because they created an economy for themselves.
And you got to think about it.
They created an economy for themselves because they have labor and they generate income.
Hey, can I say something? Can I say something what Kanye West said? Can I say something what Kanye West said? No, hold on. This is something that you don't know. I learned this from Farrakhan. Listen to this now. Oh yeah, Kanye got in all that trouble with the anti-Semitic, blah, 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 blah. First of all, being anti-Semitic, a lot of people don't know what the true meaning of that is. That's just hatred of Jews. Farrakhan picked on something that Kanye said that kind of got my eye a little bit. Kanye actually said that the Jews are doing more so than ever in productions than the Black man that's available. I agree with that, because there are a lot of Jews that I know, and a lot of Arabs that I know around, including the entertainment industry. They're working, collaborating together. It seems like, come on, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Marcus, it's like the Arabs are working together. It's like the Chinese are working together. It's like the mafia's working together, if you want to call it that, the Sicilians. But when it comes to the Black man, what's going on here?
We're divided.
Crabs in the bucket.
Yeah, Kanye said that. I was like, wow. So
that's been around for years. That's been around for centuries. If you look at it, you have to read the whole bit. That's been around for centuries.
Right.
That's why. Go ahead, Marcus. What you want to say?
What you just said right now, you don't really see it until if you self-employed, you own a business.
Right.
So people always say, why Black this, Black that? We don't have all these big businesses, or we don't have, well, when you're only dealing with 20% of the market share. Because as a Black business, we have less than 20% of the Black businesses to deal with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? So 80% goes to the other somewhere else. Wow. they kept 100% of their business.
Right.
So
Exactly.
we have only 20% among us of all the Black businesses, all the Black communities has 20% of the Black business. I mean, I'm just saying 20%. I mean, I don't know exactly what the numbers are for real, but just to give you an example, 80% of Black businesses go somewhere else.
Yeah, and I'm gonna ask this too, Marcus, and I see this all the time. I ask you this: when would it get to the point? You hear a lot of Black people always talking about I'm an entrepreneur. When would it get to the point where you could be able to sign other people's paychecks, create jobs for them,
Right.
have them with a 401k, have them with insurance? I never heard nobody. I'm serious. I don't hear Black people talk about this. I started my own business, but it's gonna be to the point where you create jobs for people, sign other people's paychecks. I don't hear them talk about that.
You're trying to get into something else right now. You're trying to be independent. You're trying to be your own people.
So I don't hear that at all. I never hear them say, "Hey, I
But
want
what
to
I'm
be a
saying
great
is-
job."
But
So
it goes back to what old boy was saying. The boy that left, he said,
yeah,
it is influence. It is influence that these women are becoming so-called girl bosses on a regular basis like this. But what happens, and you can vouch me for this, what happens is after 2 or 3 months when they go to Walmart and they say, I ain't got to work for me, I got my own business, I got this going. So you get the building, and then you get the chair in the building, but there's no production going on. So after 2 or 3 months, now you spend more money because of a barrage mouth you got, and there's no business available. Now you'll go right back to where you came from with that shame on your face, indicating that you think it was indicative for you to work at a certain level that you couldn't work because you really had no resources to be that way. It's more of an influential thing, like old boy was saying, he's gone now, but influence is the number one reason why people will turn the ship a little bit. If you can't afford to get out of Walmart to do your own business, then hush your mouth and stay where you at until you can save your money, and then you can make things happen. But we live in a world of, if I got my own business, I'm gonna be more appreciative ever. But what happens after 2 or 3 months? Let's be honest.
you don't have no mission statement in place. You don't have. If you look on the average job, they have mission statements for their organization.
Right.
They have different positions for a lot of people, like the Fortune 500 companies. They are established.
Yeah.
I never hear people of color always talk about, I want to be ready to be the Fortune 500 company where I have people on payroll. I can pay people. I can create jobs for people. I can provide them with 401k. I can provide them with benefits. I never heard nobody say that yet. It's very rare. I don't hear nobody saying that.
Well, we live in a society where anybody can get an EIN and a website, and they say they're in business owner. And it's just like, oh, I run a business. No, or anybody can go leave some office space and I'm a business owner. I've heard that. I've heard other people tell me that.
All those things are by design. All those things by design. If you start, if you're in a position where you can actually build your own community, then do you think the world wants the Black community to really have a self-sufficient community where you can hire someone, where you can pretty much, you have your own hospitals, you have your own, pretty much, do you think the world wants that?
No, because when we had that, you see what they did to it. They destroyed it and killed us.
Talking about Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. I mean, guys, listen, someone mentioned Kanye West. Right now, everybody thinks he's crazy, but I don't think Kanye West is crazy, not even one bit.
No, not at all.
I think this guy's he's a very smart guy, is a genius. And he does say some crazy stuff sometimes, but this guy knows really what he's talking about.
I got to say something on the Kanye West thing. He was diagnosed as bipolar, right?
He is, diagnosed bipolar.
Okay, here's the thing I'm gonna say on this, because I got a different perspective because I'm diagnosed as bipolar 1. A couple years ago with my fiance, I was watching an interview with him on David Letterman on Netflix, and he was in a manic state, and I've been in that state before, and it was very difficult emotionally for me to watch someone else suffering like that. A man is sick, okay? He's bipolar, and watching him was like watching myself when I was in a very bad state. So I have a little bit of empathy for him. I'm not a fan of Kanye West. I'm not a fan of his music. That's not my thing. I don't follow celebrities. If I hear about celebrities, it's on Furman's show. Literally, that's it. So I view it a little bit differently. I think that I think some of his behavior is due to his bipolar disorder. I think, just my opinion, being bipolar, I think he's in a manic state right now. He's around the wrong people. I think he's aware of what he's saying. Some of it is the bipolar, some of it is just him. I don't think, I just don't like when people just dismiss it, just say he crazy and stuff like that. The man has a diagnosed mental health condition. But he know what he's saying.
Let me ask this one too. I'm gonna ask you this one too, George. Do you think, and I'm not knocking it, I think some people start to use that as an excuse now. It become a trend now. It like somebody do something wrong, or I got mental issue. Yes, mental health now.
Yeah, I think.
I'm picking that too.
People using it as an excuse, but honestly, me watching him.
But it's real people that got real mental issue for real, and you're making a mockery of people who really do have real deal mental health issues.
Me off. Now that pisses me off. But me actually watching him for over 30 minutes, the way he was acting, he was just like me when I'm.
Because you even like got
me watching chicks, the tape. Yeah.
You even got a lot of them.
Now everybody doing it and all that kind of stuff. I say, look, man, do like they do in prison in California, man. Pull your paperwork. You claim it, pull your paperwork.
Right.
So
man, pull your stuff from your doctor. Show your paperwork.
Because even athletes start to use that now.
Yeah, but here's my thing. Forget HIPAA. Pull your paperwork. Show me your meds. All right, show it. You gonna claim it? You want to get out from it? Go ahead, pull it.
Yeah, because I know athletes start to use that now. Athletes.
Yeah, I know a lot of them are. A lot of them are.
They get caught up. Oh, I got mental issues. I've been diagnosed. But you making fun of people who actually real life.
Really got it. I suffer every day. It's hard every day. I grind every day. I have to manage it. I'm a diabetic. It's the same thing because my mental health issue is a health issue. I got diabetes. If I don't take my insulin and eat right, I'm going to be sick. If I don't go to therapy and take my medicine, I'm going to be sick. And I don't like people making a mockery of it. I don't like people
I get what you're saying.
Like, that pisses me. I got an issue with it.
Yeah, they started making mockery of it now.
It's like false flagging to me.
It's that negative externalities.
It like people say the devil made me do it. They went from the devil made me do it to now I got mental health when they get caught up.
And that's the excuse. That's the get out of jail free card now.
Okay, I'm gonna say, well, show your paperwork then. What you got? How long you been had it? Now put yourself out there. Forget HIPAA. I'll call you on. I
was thinking about the intentional competence of that, but you're right about that, Mr. Jackson, about using a mental health issue as a farce for realization. So,
Because to me, it's like saying, oh, I got kid, like I got leukemia. What's the difference? Okay, can y'all see me now?
Yeah.
Okay, but that's like saying, oh, my kid got leukemia. That's why I shot somebody. What's the difference? It's still a health issue. Now, I got breast cancer. That's why I drove drunk.
Whatever people use.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna say something. Tonight I learned a lot about people in terms of man mentalities and stuff. I want to thank you guys, man. This is great. This is one, man. I told George I'm about to get back to doing my videos on self-development. I do on my Facebook page. I'm gonna say a lot about this. And what I picked up tonight is gonna be on, man. I cannot wait. I really can. I'm loving this, man. We need to do this often because we're expressing ourselves out. We're letting ourselves open, I love it.
We're gonna do another one. It just made me think about something. It's just fun. It really is. It's like somebody take a crab pipe, say, if it's the Lord's will, take this crab pipe away from me.
At first, I didn't think what you expect, and like I said, that was my first time doing this, and I think it's great. So hey,
I love it.
Yeah.
Utilize me as much as you can. So I like to talk about politics, businesses, personal finance,
relationship.
So it definitely man mindset.
Yeah,
we hit it all tonight. Tonight.
We're gonna do a part 3 of this. That's what I love about having my own show. I can do whatever I want to do. So we're gonna do another one as well. Also with this, keep it ongoing because it's something that not like a one and done thing. This has to be something ongoing. about. I love the interaction with everybody. I love the discussion, the agree to the disagree, but everybody still came together and still show love. And at the end, we still had a good laugh.
Yeah.
At the end of it, so that's what it's all about. I know we pressed for time. Like, dang, it's 9:25, but
I know.
but we're almost going to 3 hours. But this has been well said. We respect everybody. Thank everybody for tuning into the comment sessions, sharing, liking, getting the hearts up. And by the way, I am monetized now on Facebook. So if you're watching this, you see a star underneath this, hit that star, and I get paid for it. So that's what I love about it. So it truly is good. So it's all about staying consistent. So hit that star, I get paid for it. So I think, so like I said, man, y'all have a great night. Enjoy y'all week. We're gonna be back here Saturday night. We're gonna be talking about dating. It's our Saturday Night Live Part 3. Have a great panel of young men and women. You go ahead, Curtis.
I just want to know, you got a link for this recording?
Oh yes, there's a link on my page, but also I'll be able to send it to you also as well.
Cool.
So we'll have your own copy of it. Do what you want to do with it, of course. And I appreciate you again taking time out your schedule to hang out. And big shout out to my sister. I love her as well. She said, yes, support my brother. I love you too as well. So
Kiki Watch.
That's her.
Okay.
And big shout out to her. She does have her own business as well.
Okay.
She sells clothes. She has different accessories. So follow her on social media. Support her. I support her. I buy stuff all the time from her store. So I support her as well and what she's doing. So man, great shout out. Matter of fact, I know y'all men do stuff outside this podcast. So Marcus, welcome to DFW, of course. I'm looking forward to actually sitting down with you in person, along with George, to have brunch, breakfast, dinner, and just talk about stuff. Not just talking because we on the show, but actually get together and sit down and chop it up, either brunch, like hit up First Watch, or just talk about some healthy dialogue. So, Marcus, how can people get in contact with you? Let them know what you do to those that are just tuning in right now.
Sure. I'm a financial advisor with Primerica. If you need anything, anywhere from life insurance, retirement, 401k, mutual funds, if you have small kids and you want to put up a college plan for them, I can do that as well. Phone number is 954-756-2609, 954-756-2609. Recently opened my office in Richardson in Plano Road, I think so. Yeah.
And also, and matter of fact, once again, welcome to DFW. I've been living here a year, going on 2 years. I'm originally from Mobile, Alabama. I love it here in the DFW area. A lot of growth here.
I love it. I love Dallas, man.
And people don't realize about the state of Texas. You don't pay no state tax here in the state of Texas. Back in Alabama, you pay federal and state. Here, you don't pay no state. You just pay federal. That's it.
Curtis, I'm from Florida, so still the same.
Because they don't pay no state tax in Florida either. Yeah. Curtis, go ahead and plug in what you got going on. How can people get in contact with you? How can they follow you on different media platforms? Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I want to give a shout out to my boy George for getting me involved in this Med Association. We're going to collaborate more so often than anything. Thanks again, George. I feel great about this. My website is www.kurtstrideabrams.com. CURTSTRIDE Abrams ABRAMS.com. There you can get my book there. I've done an audio version of it, and I've done a paperback version of it of the book. That's what it looks like right here. It's been bestseller. It's pretty cool, and I've been doing speaking engagements as well. I'm also about to get involved into the coaching of communications. I've done a couple already. If you want to get involved in that, just go to my website. I'm also getting involved in anger management specialist, and I'm also going to get involved in couples in terms of premarital or marital, and they're having situations. I'm going to be a facilitator into that realm as well, and I will be listening. So I got all that together, and I'm on Facebook if you want to hear me doing some speaking about personal development and anything that's involving the world today. Please be safe, and that's pretty much me. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I do TikTok, and I don't dance on TikTok. So there you go.
Oh, I'm gonna say what kind of dance? I'm about to say what kind of dance you be doing on TikTok?
I'll leave it for the ladies, baby. I'll leave it for the ladies. No, I'm good. Thank you.
Awesome. Go ahead, George.
Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah. Not today.
Go ahead, George.
All right. George Brooks, based out of Dallas, originally from Memphis. CEO and founder of Meta Association. At metaassociation.org. That's METTA association.org. We're a nonprofit that focuses on Black male mental health, fighting recidivism, and fatherhood. You can also follow me on Facebook under George P. Brooks. I also do public speaking. We are launching and developing a new co-parenting course that's father-focused, accepting donations on that. So you can find information there on our Facebook page and on our site. So feel free to reach out if you need mental health assistance or referrals. You can find us at metassociation.org as well. Thank you.
And also, by the way, if you have any mental issues, George prefer you to show your paperwork.
Yeah. If you're gonna claim to get out of trouble, if you're a celebrity, you need to show some paperwork.
Make sure you show your paperwork.
Because when you do that, seriously, when you do that, you diminish people that's really, really suffering.
That's
right.
True.
And that, to me, that's like false flagging. I have an issue with that.
Okay.
Because somebody may really need help, and they might not get taken seriously because you want to act a fool and then claim mental health issues.
Can you remember the story of the boy that cried wolf?
Yeah.
Remember that story? Kept crying wolf. They came. Then wolves one day, he laughed. Eventually the wolves did come. Yeah. And ain't nobody come to rescue.
So I might have to do like Wes Watson and talk about, man, show your paperwork, do something.
Receipts. Show them receipts.
I want your paperwork. I don't care if you had the suitcase or whatever. Show your paperwork if you're gonna claim it.
Yeah, I agree, because they taking that, like, you hear athletes talking about they got many issues now, but they not showing where they been to the doctor, being diagnosed. They just go.
And I know I know they can't literally do this. Okay, I'm not stupid, people. I know they can't literally show their paperwork, but think about it. If you don't have a diagnosed thing, don't use it as a cop out, because there's somebody out there that really needs help.
Right.
And they need their compassion and attention. That's like claiming you got cancer and you don't. Okay, look at it like that, people.
Don't play with people like that.
Exactly.
Totally. I seen people that got real many issues where they be their own feces. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know where they at. Peeing on themselves, all that stuff. Don't know where they mind at.
Yeah.
That's serious. I see this all the time.
Yeah. And I've been through some rough stuff in my life, and and I've seen a lot. So it's nothing to play with.
So y'all we had a great time. We about to get together. Airline side, we'll be back Saturday night with Saturday Night Live Part 3. We're gonna be talking about dating. Got a great panel of men and women that's gonna be on here tonight on Saturday night. It's gonna be at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We thank everybody for supporting the podcast. Big shout out to the crew. Big shout out to Anna C, Coach Shay, and Kenny Primetime Wednesday be here with me on Wednesday. I also give big shout out to Phoenix Sapphire. She co-hosting with me on Wednesday night, of course. Mm-hmm. So she went on this episode, but she's gonna be back with me again soon. She's gonna be on Saturday night episode. Big shout out to her as well. So like I said, we want everybody to have a great night, great productive night. Remember the graveyard. Everybody had one thing in common. They thought they were gonna see tomorrow, and they didn't. So let's live life like it's our last day here on earth. And also remember, celebrate yourself. Look yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself I love you. Tell yourself I got your back. Tell yourself you're valuable. Tell yourself that you're overcomer. Tell yourself you're an achiever. Tell yourself I will be successful. Tell yourself I will be happy. Tell yourself I will have joy. Tell yourself that. Even the Bible said David had to encourage himself. So a lot of times don't look for people to encourage you. You encourage yourself. So, gentlemen, kings, I salute each and every one of y'all. I give y'all roses right now. Don't wait till somebody die, give them their roses. You give them their roses right now. Y'all keep with the great work. George, Mark, I look forward to fellowship with y'all very soon. We can sit down, break bread, and fellowship. So I look forward to that. Hopefully, Kurt, when you're in the DFW area, you come celebrating everything and just break bread. That's what it's all about. Build a relationship, as Zach. So y'all have a great night. See y'all next time here on Walking His Ways, Impact Voice. By the way, follow these great men on social media. If you want any financial tip or anything, get with Marcus. If you're serious about your life insurance, men, I'm telling to the men before we leave, men, for your family, make sure you get a life insurance policy. Make sure you take out another retirement account. Think about the financial of your future for your family. Think about that.
Okay.
Think about
Sounds
that.
good. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
All
because a
right,
lot of
guys.
people. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, appreciate everything, appreciate the time. So definitely, I enjoyed the conversation. So we should do that more often then.
And we're
Yes,
gonna bring
we
it back. We're gonna bring it back. We're gonna do a part 3 of this. So we set a
Okay.
date, reach out to y'all, and we're gonna make it work. So y'all have a great night.
Have a good one.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.